From Coach Corso in the land of deep-fried everything to this, the Rebel Walk in Oxford, the Grove, as we welcome you to ESPN College Football presented by Marathon, a very significant game in the SEC. Number 13, Arkansas. Number 17, Ole Miss. As we say good afternoon, Joe Tessitore and Greg McElroy in what everybody down here in the South this week, Greg, is calling the Bounce Back Bowl. Because last week, Arkansas found out how destructive that Georgia defense is. And Lane Kiffin found out that the get your popcorn ready hype at Bama, sometimes it leaves that bad burnt smell. But you know what we have here? We got a heck of a significant game, don't we?
We do. And the winner of this game is prime position to potentially secure a New Year's Six Bowl. So when you really think about what these two teams were last week, I think both teams, both coaching staffs, they acknowledged, hey man, that wasn't as much about us. That was about the greatness of Alabama and Georgia. And for Ole Miss specifically, there's still a lot to play for this year because they have a great quarterback. A quarterback that can quickly turn things around. And in the first 3 games, Matt Corral was absolutely off the charts. So accurate with the football. So much command. Great decision making. Getting the ball out of his hands quickly and allowing what was a wide receiver core to run free throughout most of the first 3 games. However, last week, it came back to earth just a little bit. Not the gaudy stats that you've become accustomed to seeing from Matt Corral. Played fine, and everyone seems to think his Heisman chances are done. They're not. There's one bad performance and an opportunity now on a national platform against a great Arkansas team to flex his muscles yet again.
Great scene here at Vaught-Hemingway on a beautiful, beautiful sunny day here in Oxford. Arkansas won the toss. They elected to receive. So Caden Costa will be kicking away. Nathan Perotti, the deep man for the Hogs. 68th meeting between these two. A series that dates back to 1908. Let's say hello to Katie George.
Tess, Greg, today marks the first time KJ Jefferson returns to his home state of Mississippi as a starting quarterback for Arkansas. He grew up in Sardis, Mississippi, just about 30 miles down the road from Oxford, so he's got a ton of fans, friends, family in the stands. They're all wearing the same exact shirt. He said that adds just a little bit extra juice, but in no way will that affect his even-keeled demeanor. Sam Pittman told me he has been exceptional this week in practice, partly because he wants to bounce back from that Georgia loss, but also he wants to show out in his home state.
No doubt about it, Katie. 8th start of his career, but 4 of his previous starts come against top 15 competition. They're going to go on the ground and around with Treylon Burks to get the game going.
And KJ Jefferson, when you look at him, first thing that comes to mind is Cam Newton. I mean, just the big physical stature there in the pocket. An improving passer, especially on downfield. But when he's at his best, it's when he's on the move. He's a great runner with the football, not just on the perimeter, but between the tackles as well.
You mentioned Cam at 245 pounds. Jefferson is their second leading rusher. This is Smith with the carry here as he takes it ahead to the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 5 from there. Sam Williams with the tackle.
And KJ Jefferson's going to be going against what's been an improved Ole Miss defense. Now, they struggled last week, but through the first 3 games, there's a group that struggled a lot in 2020, has improved drastically over the course of the first few weeks.
3rd and 5. Smith on the ground, trying to find some blocking to the outside as he is able to turn the corner. And we'll see that mark on the near side as he tried to make that line to gain, and he did, and it is a 1st down based on that spot. So tempo now for Arkansas.
There's a great block out in front, too, by Blake Kern, driving the Ole Miss defender to the turf. And that's who Arkansas is. They're going to run the football. They want to pound it. And even on 3rd down, what would be an obvious pass for most teams, they're very comfortable handing it off to their talented running backs.
There's option to the left as Jefferson does not pitch to Smith. Instead, he makes his way to the 38-yard line, gain of 3. Tackle came from A.J. Finley, very active safety for Ole Miss.
And when you're playing against a team like Ole Miss, you need to be very mindful of your own tempo. Right now, Arkansas going no huddle, but not really going at warp speed.
Short pitch. Smith made the first man miss, but then struggled to get back to the line. Darting in was Keidron Smith, the first man to disrupt things.
And that was a great job right there off the nickel, beating the wide receiver inside and making a play in the backfield.
They're down in 7, and this crowd will make some noise. Third and 7. Jefferson, with time, comes to the near side, wildly overthrows the intended target, Devion Warren.
That was a great job there by Ole Miss's defense. On first down, give up a decent play, force the negative on the second down, and then you get Arkansas off schedule with a 3rd and long. And there's nice coverage on the outside. Good start from the Rebels on the defensive side of the football.
Reed Bauer on to punt. He's had 2 blocked this year, including last week early in the game against Georgia. Braylon Sanders, very capable return man for the Rebels. Takes a great bounce that he has to field at the 9, and then look at this return by Sanders. My, oh my, did he ever get something out of that. Reed Bauer, the punter, had to get his hands on him.
Corral zips one, it's intercepted again. 6 interceptions.
I know I messed up, and I know I have an opportunity to fix it. That's all the motivation I need.
I'm sure he's going to be really excited to play us because, in his words, he didn't play very well, and he'll probably have a little bit more on this one.
Well, Matt Corral told me as he walked into the stadium this morning that he needs to be patient in this game. He learned that the hard way last season. It's something he's consciously worked on over the last year, guys. Being patient, taking what the defense gives him, and not trying to do too much. That's his mindset today.
6 interceptions a year ago, 2 returned for pick-6 touchdowns. Henry Parrish, you saw, get the handoff there. He gets the start today. Greg Jerian Ely, preseason first-team All-SEC, out injured. That is incomplete, thrown to the outside of the intended target, Pearson on the slant.
Yeah, Jerian Ely is obviously a very talented player, but there's not much drop-off when Henry Parrish goes in the game. He's extremely elusive, has a really nice cut, and will complement this passing attack with the way he can create on his own.
3rd down and 8 after the 30-yard punt return by Braylon Sanders. Corral swings it to Parrish out of the backfield, and he is met and brought down immediately. Grant Morgan and Joe Fouché combining on the tackle.
And this was obviously a down and distance that Lane Kiffin's very comfortable going, but here on this side of the 50, even though he's not afraid, clearly the analytics determined this is not the time to go for it on 4th down.
Went for it 5 times against Bama, failed on 3 4th down conversions, and Bama scored 21 points subsequent to all of those. Mack Brown, who has an astounding 49.1 punt average on to kick away. Parodi, the deep man for Arkansas, and he calls for the fair catch at the 17-yard line. Defense doing their job early on here at Vaught Hemingway in Oxford, Mississippi on a sunny day in the SEC. Joe, Greg, and Katie with you as you're watching the SEC on ESPN. Beautiful day. There's the Chancellor's office here at the University of Mississippi. Homecoming weekend here in Oxford. Arkansas's first drive, 6 plays, just 13 yards before they punted it away. Second go round now for KJ Jefferson and Traylon Smith in the backfield. Jefferson on the run. This is what he can do so well, and he advances it for a 1st down.
So far from these defenses, what you're going to see are 3 down defensive line and 8 guys dropping back in coverage, which means it invites the opposing offense to try to run the football. Ironically enough, these defenses structured tests very similarly to one another. So these offenses certainly know how to attack these groups.
That had a lot to do with last year's meeting between these two. Jefferson, look at the time he has on 1st down, and with it, he goes over to Treylon Burks. Let's check in the studio and Matt.
Hey guys, happy College Football Saturday. Time now for your Rocket Mortgage Studio update. This was the first offensive play in the Red River rivalry, Texas-Oklahoma. Xavier Worthy. Is it a good play? Is it bad tackling? Texas doesn't care. 75-yard touchdown, 7-0. Then after a blocked punt, moments ago. Bijan Robinson takes it in. Guys, it's 14-0 Horns early first quarter.
And Matt, it was just back on September 11th when those Horns were number 15 in the country. They went to Arkansas and they got punched right in the face. 40-21, Arkansas controlled them. And Casey Thompson was not the starting quarterback that night for Texas.
And they've looked like a completely different team since he's taken over. And of course, Texas, that's one that Arkansas was very proud of. They felt like they beat a really good football team that night. Penalty
Moved Arkansas back 5 yards. Jefferson makes up for it here with this run as he's tackled by Smith, and he goes for 9 yards as KJ Jefferson, 245-pounder who Katie said's got a big crowd of family and friends as he grew up just 20 minutes away. Smith on 2nd and 6, and Greg, you brought it up. If Arkansas can play toward their identity and do this, they'll be in good shape today.
No, absolutely. It's all about the run game so far. And as you see, Smith, a little beat up coming into this one, still running very hard for the undersized running back.
As he gets it down to the 44-yard line, Chance Campbell was trying to strip that ball away, the transfer linebacker from Maryland.
Chance Campbell really had a great start to the season, has made a huge difference for DJ Durkin's defense. Had a tough time last week with the big backs of Alabama, but he's been a breath of fresh air that they were able to add to the second level of the defense.
Jefferson searching for something on the right side and able to get it to the 38-yard line. It'll be 3rd down from there.
If I'm Arkansas, man, I'm just going to run KJ Jefferson over and over and over again. Because right now, he's a big body with a lot of momentum, and Ole Miss had a tough time tackling.
3rd down and 2. Jefferson. Can he reach out for it? No. Brought down well that time by A.J. Finley. What a good athletic play from the safety who gives up nearly 40 pounds to the big burly quarterback.
And K.J. Jefferson's got to get upfield. I mean, it's 3rd and 2. You can't go side to side. When you're 245 pounds, you've got to go north and south, and that's what I'd expect here on 4th and short.
4th down and 1. A lot of window dressing pre-snap here. 4th and 1. Sanders, and he keeps his balance to get even more than that. Rocket Sanders, the 225-pound freshman.
He is a big back. A nice compliment to the slightly undersized Smith. They have 4 running backs that they feel great about, Arkansas.
Quickly to the line. Sanders back to work. And right now, they are finding a rhythm running the ball. Sanders originally signed as a wide receiver coming out of high school. 6'2", 225. Guy signs as a wide receiver coming out of high school.
Wearing a popular number, too. As you can see, those backs all waiting for their opportunity. They'll roll all 4, and the most talented might be the true freshman A.J. Green, who has world-class speed.
2nd and 3. Sanders picks up about 2.5 yards. Johnson with the tackle. Defensive player down at the end of that play. Looks like Jarman Gordon, sophomore defensive end. So as they look at him, we will take a quick break. 3rd and 1 when we return.
ESPN College Football is presented by Marathon, driven forward, and in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
McElroy, that was 7 o'clock last night when you can rush the Grove to get your spot. And then this is 7 a.m. this morning for a local 11 a.m. kick. Universally accepted as the premier tailgating spot in all of college football, the Grove.
I've never seen anything like it. That place blows my mind every time I go. You almost have to make an appointment. It's something that every college football fan needs to see. Because your expectation level, ramp it up about 10 times. That's how impressive the Grove is on a weekly basis.
Look at what Arkansas is doing on the ground. I think it's 61 yards, 48 of them are on the ground. 3rd and 1. And this time struggling to make it is Sanders. He's trying to reach out, but A.J. Finley again coming up. Looked like the ball came out for a moment there, but you see where they mark this. Finley's been very active coming up to try to stop the run. And it'll be a 1st down for Arkansas.
It was a great second effort because you referenced it. Finley coming off the edge. He almost made the play. As you see, Sam Pittman has done a great job here at Arkansas. Brought in 2 unbelievable coordinators in Kendall Briles and Barry Odom on the offensive and defensive side, respectively.
Kendall Briles facing his old boss. He worked for Lane Kiffin at FAU. Traylon Smith. Flag is down back at the 22-yard line as Smith is ridden out of bounds by Leonard. Arkansas opened the season with 4 straight wins.
Offense number 84. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
And they hadn't done that since 2003. Year number 2 for that guy, Sam Pittman. One of the most beloved, likable coaches in all of college football. One of those guys, no matter where you go and where we've been through the years, all his years as an offensive line coach at UNC and Tennessee, of course, the great success he had at Georgia. I mean, one of the most respected guys in the game for years. Jefferson patiently looking for something in the run game, and he was taken down by Smith. Keydron Smith averages over 6 tackles per game. He's been starting in place of Jake Springer for the last 3 games. Springer out injured. Springer was a big part of the success of this defense early on.
And it's really important for these safeties, Foster and Smith and A.J. Finley. They're going to be on the edges, and they have to protect those edges against the run, so it's really tough for them against this style offense.
2nd and 13. Jefferson going to get it out of the backfield to Smith. And he couldn't get past the first man. It was Jalen Jones, the 6th-year senior, who makes the tackle.
It's a great job there in space. You get your running back one-on-one with the defender. Every offensive coordinator would take that. Just a wonderful job there by Jones on the edge, making the play in the backfield.
14th play of the drive coming up. Been grinding it out, taking up clock, gaining yards, and now a 3rd and 11. Jefferson inside the 10. He gets it to Sanders, and it'll be 1st and goal, Hogs.
Just a great throw there by K.J. Jefferson on the seam to the running back. Really tight window that he was able to squeeze it into.
Fakes the pitch straight ahead and in. First dagger of the afternoon, K.J. Jefferson. And all the family and friends who only made a 20-minute drive are high-fiving here in Oxford. From Sardis, Mississippi, North Panola High. A long drive, capped with the quarterback doing it on his own. It went 15 plays. He made a beautiful 3rd down conversion and then said, "Let me have this dance." Nearby my hometown, K.J. Jefferson, 6-yard touchdown run.
Let's take a look at the touchdown on the AT&T 5G Skycam. You're going to see 2 Ole Miss defenders play outside as Limmer kicks it out, and it's just the Red Sea parting for K.J. Jefferson. He walks into the end zone. The numbers right now for Ole Miss defensively are a problem that they need to get addressed because the quarterback run game is going to be there all day long if Ole Miss doesn't make some moves with where they position their players before the snap.
7-zip here, Arkansas on top. Let's check in with Matt in the studio.
All right, guys, Rocket Mortgage Studio update. There are 5 teams from the Big Ten in the top 11 of the rankings. One of them is Michigan State, taking on Rutgers, down 7-0. Peyton Thorne to Jalen Naylor, 63 yards for the touchdown. They tie it. Sparty has the ball, gentlemen. Big day in the Big Ten on this college football Saturday.
No doubt about it. Matt Naylor can fly. Of course, Kenneth Walker III, a Heisman contender in that backfield. Here's the slant as Corral gets it complete to Chase Rogers, who had a touchdown last week against Alabama. Ole Miss came out on their first drive. It was a 3-and-out, and here they try to get to tempo as they want to do. Corral's going to run with Connor in front, and a stiff arm and a little something extra out to the 46-yard line.
And this is a very underrated part of his game. He's obviously very accurate, makes good decisions, can easily carve up the defense through the air, but one part of his game that's really grown is his ability to create with his legs, especially in the red zone.
2nd and 3, Connor. He slipped as he tried to make that cut back against the grain and get something extra. Hayden Henry had the tackle. Hayden Henry, who was the Walter Camp National Defensive Player of the Week in the big win that we referenced over Texas, had 15 tackles that night in that thriller for Arkansas.
False start, offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
78's Jeremy James, the right tackle. Greg, they are shifting things on the offensive line. Jordan Rhodes gets the start at left guard. Caleb Warren is out. That means then Umana at center and Rhodes at left guard. 2 guys that weren't even here for spring football. 2 transfers.
Yeah, it's really difficult against what's a very active and powerful Arkansas defensive line.
Sanders moved to the backfield on 3rd and 6. Corral, look at the time he has, but good coverage downfield, and he is taken down by Grant Morgan, the captain of this Arkansas team, who last year against Ole Miss had a pick-6 interception return touchdown off of Corral.
Like we said earlier, Lane not afraid to go for it regardless of where he's out on the field.
Here's 4th down. 3 failed last week. This one connects for a conversion to Pearson. So he rolled the dice a lot last week against Alabama. Buys into analytics fully. A no-brainer, he says, and they convert. Lane Kiffin comes up with the 4th down conversion. Quick strike to the near side, and that's complete to Rogers.
I like what they're doing right now, getting the ball out of Matt Corral's hands quickly off quick play action. Get those linebackers biting on the run, and then pitch it out to those wide receivers, see if they can make a guy miss. A lot of cushion being given right now by those Arkansas secondary defenders.
2nd and 2, Corral tries to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage, but Catalan there to make the tackle.
Of course, 3rd down and short. You got to think Lane going to be going for it here, so 2 downs to get it.
Parrish, that's going to be close depending on that spot, as Bumper Poole was there to fill and fit that run.
The strength of this Arkansas defense is at the 2nd level. You referenced Hayden Henry and how good he's been. Bumper Poole and Grant Morgan, they are so good at all 3 positions. A big reason why this defense has been difficult to penetrate throughout the course of the season.
And officials are taking a good look at that spot there. Well, we had that conversation with Lane Kiffin, Greg, about his idea of how and when, and fully buys into the analytics. He goes, it's just one of those things we already know. Every time we get a 1st down, we already know situationally where we are on the field if we have 4 downs ahead of us. It's not an after 3rd down decision for him.
Right, and I think what's neat is depending on where they're at on the field, he knows prior to the 1st down play, he has a coach up in the booth that tells him 6 or less, 5 or less, 3 or less, 8 or less. Meaning if it's 4th and 8 or less, they're going for it, depending on where they're out on the field. And sometimes he says, yeah, I follow that, but I also have to feel it. I got to see where my offense is at. If they're struggling, maybe I won't go for it. If they're hot, maybe I will. So it's dependent on analytics, but he does allow the feel of the game to really play a factor in a role as well.
They convert 73% of their 4th downs. They go for it at least 3 times every game. It'll also be 4th down and very short. There's Jalen Catalon, preseason All-America, safety. I always describe him as a magnet to the football in this defense. 4th and 1. And easily picking it up is Parrish. So 2 4th down conversions on this drive for Ole Miss.
That was a really nice run there by Parrish. As Catalon was there, probably wouldn't have made the stop at the line of scrimmage, but it was a good job running through the physical safety.
Parrish gets the call again, and he couldn't spin free and keep his balance that time as Greg Brooks was there to find him.
So much the attention of this offense has been on Matt Corral and how he throws it, but this is an offensive line, even though they're missing a couple of guys today, still a physical group that's grown a lot in the last couple years.
Parrish again, unable to bounce it, as getting into that backfield was Bumper Poole, the team's leading tackler. His 3 games this year already with double-digit tackles. Third down, Connor comes in to flank Corral, and he's going to run it. And he does so really well to the 16-yard line.
And this is the part of the field where they really emphasize the quarterback run. As you can see, we talked about the structure of Arkansas's defense and how it's similar to Ole Miss's defense. Well, what worked for Arkansas on the first drive? Quarterback run. What's working for Ole Miss right now? Quarterback run. Got to account for that guy with the numbers. And right now, with how soft some of those Arkansas players are playing in the secondary, the run is there, at least to get to the 5-yard mark.
13th play of this drive. See, Corral has 6 rushing touchdowns on the year. Now they're in the red zone, and he's going to run again. This time he is met. Grant Morgan was waiting on him. Grant Morgan, who started his career out of high school with the only offer he had coming from Air Force. His brother was a walk-on at Arkansas. He said, I want to give it a shot. Kept working hard, earned himself a scholarship. 7-zip Arkansas at the end of 1, but Ole Miss is on the go when we return to Oxford on a sunny day in the SEC. Saturday Night Football is presented by Capital One, and it is number 9 Michigan at Nebraska, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. Michigan going to get themselves to 5-0, McElroy?
I like Michigan a lot. I think it's a really good team. I'm just telling you, they better be careful today. That Nebraska team is starting to cook with gas.
2nd and 7. Matt Corral with blockers in front, and then he is ridden out by Joe Fouché. Michigan last started 5-0 in 2011. That'll be tonight on ABC. Long drive here for Ole Miss. 3rd and 1. And straight ahead to the line to gain is Henry Parrish Jr., the sophomore from Florida, who starts in place of an injured Jerrion Ealy, who got banged up last week against Alabama. Ealy was preseason first-team SEC as an all-purpose player, but coach is very high on what Parrish offers up. I'm going to call this a 4th and 1.
And keep an eye on number 1, Jalen Catalon. He's the guy there in the Arkansas secondary that's going to be unblocked. So it's essentially on him if they run it here to make a play.
They've already converted 2 and now make it 3 4th down conversions on this drive alone. So it'll be a 1st and goal for the Rebels.
Now, I know the drive's not exactly over yet, but it's been a really nice answer from Ole Miss. 3 and out on their first possession. To watch Arkansas go 15 plays and 82 yards right down the field to score a touchdown. And here's their response. It's been methodical, it's been long, and it's given their defense a much-needed rest.
1st and goal. Corral straight ahead, takes on the hit, and gets a push for his 7th rushing touchdown of the season. And that leads the SEC. Greg, you said it. This is a grossly underrated part of his game. And Matt Corral's not that big of a guy.
No, he's not big at all. I'll tell you what, He plays big, man. I love the way he runs. Lowering the shoulder and forcing his way into the end zone.
You know what this game means to him, as the extra point is no good by Caden Costa. Has 2 missed PATs on the year, but this is a revenge and redemption game for Matt Corral through 6 interceptions in the loss to Arkansas a year ago. You don't got to worry about interceptions when you play like that, with desire and strength and power right into the end zone. ESPN College Football presented by Marathon, Dr. Pepper's Championship Drive Game of the Week. Joe, Greg, and Katie here, where Arkansas has a 7-6 lead because of the missed extra point moments ago. That Ole Miss offense that ranks in the top 10 in 5 different categories just had a 75-yard drive capped by a Matt Corral touchdown. Let's go to Matt.
All right, guys, it's that quick 14-0 start for Texas. Oklahoma got back on the board, but here come the Longhorns after an interception. Joshua Moore, what a strike by Casey Thompson. Right now, 21-7 Texas towards the end of the first. And look what Josh Heupel's doing to South Carolina in the first quarter. 28-0 Volunteers. This offense woke up last week at Mizzou. They're still going. 28-0 Volunteers over South Carolina.
Ole Miss is at Tennessee next week, and this is a very different Tennessee team as the season goes on, and they are able to find their way with that offensive system. First down, twist option, Smith to the outside. Traylon Smith with a chunk play for the Hogs.
I just love this play. A little reverse speed option. You get the defenders flowing just a little bit to the left, and then you outflank the linebackers. You see Austin Keys, number 11 for Ole Miss, just doesn't have the proper angle, and Smith creates a big play down the sideline.
Isn't it amazing what that little pivot can do? Just enough. Jefferson still on his feet, crossing midfield.
Well, Tess, Greg, in between series, Sam Pittman visited his offensive line and he said, hey, this is an all-day affair. Physicality will beat finesse every time. You gotta love it.
I do. I tell you what, when you play Arkansas, you better play it with a big bag of knuckles, because these guys will punch you and they'll fight. It's a blue-collar group that really has taken after the personality of their head coach. I mean, the former offensive line coach, Sam Pittman, it's a fun team to watch, but I would not go as far as to say that Ole Miss is finesse. This is a team that will also hit you and has improved drastically in that regard.
3rd down and 1. Trying with the quarterback sneak. Second effort, and then reaching it ahead is KJ Jefferson. You see the near side official will probably have that mark for the first down. You know, you bring up the offensive line. Listen, Greg, last week they struggled mightily against that unbelievable Georgia front 7. You know, Pro Football Focus, they do the grading system. Last 7+ years, it was the all-time low run blocking mark for Arkansas last week. Jefferson so relaxed, and then downfield and incomplete as he had Warren Thompson streaking towards the goal line.
Oh, man, and Thompson's a guy that they really need to come on. He's a talented player with good length, and he had it right in his hands. It's a great throw, slightly to the inside from Jefferson, but one that the wide receivers should absolutely have brought in, and that's what Arkansas could do, man. They'll rock you to sleep. They'll run it over and over and over again, and then boom, they'll throw it over your head. That time, just unable to reel it in.
Jefferson's first incompletion, 4 of 5 for 73 yards. Sanders. I probably have a face mask here as he was spinning free, trying to get past all the Ole Miss defenders, including Tavius Robinson.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. This is a 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run with an automatic first down.
And that's an unfortunate play there for Ole Miss, too, because they had that thing bottled up, whether Robinson grabbed the face mask or not. And then Arkansas is looking at a 3rd and 12 if that hand doesn't go just a little bit high and grasp the running back's mask.
Instead of first down at the 28-yard line, Johnson comes in as the running back. He's a 235-pounder, came up big in their 2 biggest wins, and he bursts up the middle, and look at him. He's at 235 pounds. That's what it looks like. 9 yards there from Dominique Johnson.
And when your running back's at 235 and your quarterback's at 245, what kind of offense do you think you're going to have? And Kendall Briles, they got some power in the backfield.
2nd and 1, and that'll move the chains. So he scored their touchdown to get the night going against Texas, and then Johnson against A&M, they just fed him the ball in the 4th quarter with the lead to continue to convert on critical 3rd downs. And he's the big burly guy in the backfield. Kendall Briles, offensive coordinator for Arkansas. Smith to the goal line and in. Keeping his balance for a Hogs touchdown, Traylon Smith.
How about the finish? Awareness as he crossed the goal line. That left knee's down. They're going to look at it. Every scoring play is reviewed. Is he over? It's so difficult to see from that angle, but I haven't seen anything from either of the first few. It leads me to think that he was a little bit short. I think it's a touchdown.
Watch that left knee. This is pylon cam. It's right down there. There's that left knee right there. And you see the ball right across that white line, rolling on the field. A touchdown for Traylon Smith, who's been dealing with injuries. They didn't have him at full speed, even in the middle of their good practices when they were good on good, middle of the week. He's been dealing with numerous nagging injuries. This is a redshirt senior who now has 9 rushing touchdowns over his last 10 games.
Great effort from him.
You know what, guys? I had a conversation with Smith earlier this week, and he said, I haven't played my best yet, but I'm leading the young guys in the running back room. That's how I'm providing for this team right now. He said, I've never been a selfish guy. Of course, I'd like more snaps, but he's not worried about that right now. He said, I just want to see the young cats eat. I'm happy, smiling, celebrating them on the sidelines. Well, he was happy just then. He was the one eating on that play.
Yeah, and Katie, I think that's the attitude that you have to have when you're an older player and you get a coaching change and you dealt with a transfer. There's going to be a new wave of young talent. They got a lot of fast young guys on this offensive roster.
Touchdown.
And I think that was obviously the correct call, but I think a big part of what Smith means, man, he's seen Arkansas during some pretty low times, obviously. And now that they're winning and the culture's changed, it's changed because of guys like that and the buy-in of those veteran players. It's been a scheme change, it's been an adjustment, but now they're starting to reap the rewards, and that's the type of leadership that you love to have scattered throughout your roster.
No, I mean, just Smith's attitude has been remarkable throughout his career. Started his career at Arizona State, transfers. Now, that's the old NCAA rule, had to sit out. He spent the year giving the scout team a star and giving the defense fits. And now he has the Hogs up by 8 here on the road.
Quarter.
4 overtimes a week ago in Red River. Now Texas out in front as college football rankings are brought to you by Capital One.
Look at that Iowa-Penn State game. That game is going to be fascinating. So I have been so impressed with Iowa this year. I think they are clearly the number 3 team in the country. Now the gap between 1-2 and the rest is pretty significant, but Iowa to me has separated themselves from the pack, and I think they're going to win convincingly today. Penn State team, I'm not sure they've seen a defense like they're going to see this afternoon.
John Rice Plumlee, the former starting quarterback a couple years ago, on kickoff return out to the 17.
Well, guys, Matt Corral said something clicked a year ago in this Arkansas game. He threw those 6 picks. He said, Lane Kiffin should have pulled me. The fact that he didn't, he said, after the game, he came to me and said, this is your team. You're the guy. You're the leader. And he said from there, he started acting like that. He's the first one in, the last one out. No one can question he's the hardest worker on this team and therefore their greatest leader.
I really, really have enjoyed covering him the last few years. And I remember, I'll tell you a story after this play. One thing that stuck out to me that really indicated what kind of competitor he was.
Parrish Around the right edge. Good run by Henry Parrish Jr. for a first down.
And I was calling the Egg Bowl a few years back against Mississippi State, and Jordan Ta'amu got injured in that game. In comes Matt Corral. Who's this freshman? Hotshot kid. Let's see what he's all about. He started a fight in the game. Now, I'm not condoning fighting, especially for your quarterback, and if you're going to throw something, don't throw your right hand. But that showed me what kind of competitor he was and how bad he wants it.
He wants this, and he's got it wide open to Drummond. Dontario Drummond. Lock it up. Rebels. 67-yard touchdown.
Just a thing of beauty on the sluggo, the slant and go. And Drummond takes off. Easy pitch and catch for Corral. And a great answer again from the Ole Miss Rebels.
Remember, the freshman kicker missed their first extra point attempt of the day, so the offense stays on the field to try to tie this game with a 2-point conversion. Major shift from a bunch formation on the left to the right, and into the backfield is Parrish, as now Drummond goes to the left side. Fakes the end around. Corral looking for an option, scrambling, trying to find anything, and he goes in on his own, and he took a big hit on the path to get there up high. One struggling game against a mighty team does not throw a Heisman campaign off, folks. Not when you're this talented. Matt Corral, 67-yard touchdown pass, and then the gritty 2-point conversion. There's a lot of juice right now at Vaught Hemingway. We've got a 14-14 game between number 13, Arkansas, and number 17, Ole Miss. Let's find out what's happening elsewhere with Matt.
You know, everyone thinks Ohio State, because they lost early to Oregon, could be out of the picture. I am here to tell you they are playing good football. C.J. Stroud, Chris Olave, 28th career touchdown reception for Olave, 21-3 Ohio State over the Turtle.
Olave already has 90 yards receiving and that touchdown. C.J. Stroud, a couple of touchdown passes, over 200 yards passing already on the day. So Ohio State out in front 21-3. 14-14 after that outstanding pass. Corral to Drummond. KJ Jefferson back to the ground as he makes it just a nudge past the 30-yard line. You know, Matt Corral, we talked about last year, the 6 interceptions. Middle of the summer, everybody down at SEC Media Day said, what about that game last year? What about the game against Arkansas? He said, I can promise you one thing. Next time I play that defense, it's going to be much different.
Yeah, it has been so far. He has been very dialed in, not just throwing the ball, but also with his legs. Been physical in the run game.
Second and 4. Sanders trying to bounce it, and he does. Rocket Sanders with a little rocket fuel off the right side. DeAndre Prince had to finally track him down, but that is exactly what the freshman can do.
Yeah, right now, Ole Miss has problems on defense. I mean, they are not doing a good job of tackling behind the line of scrimmage. They're doing okay, but they're not containing. The safeties have to be better.
Jefferson, he gets it complete. And inside the 40-yard line is Warren, who goes for 12 yards. Warren's been in the program for 6 yards. Was originally an option quarterback when he came there.
And if you see Ole Miss's defense, the way they structure it, they need Otis Reese, that middle of the field safety. He's got to play at a very high level every single week. Right now, he's the only guy in that front that's unaccounted for. So he's got to have a lot of tackles. So far, he hasn't done a very good job of triggering, and when he hasn't made the play when it's there to be made.
Sanders spins, keeps his legs, and look at this. Ball came out at the end. Ole Miss pounces on it and recovers it. Chance Campbell, the linebacker who transferred in from comes up with the fumble recovery. What a great defensive play for the Rebs.
Just a massive play there for the Rebels defense as you see Campbell, the transfer, ripping it from the Arkansas running back. Of course, the ball falls straight down. Those knees are up. It's just a great effort play by the linebacker, and they needed it too because that defense, they were reeling a little bit against the Arkansas run game.
And Campbell's a guy who has come in and instantly has been a leader for this Ole Miss defense. Huge addition to the team. Bullock on the short pitch. Nowhere to go. Lost a couple of yards as Catalan was surging in.
And we just talked about number 3 for Ole Miss on defense, Otis Reese. Well, the guy on this Arkansas defense is Jalen Catalan. This dude is like he's shot out of a missile, shot out of a cannon every single snap. Flies all over the field, makes plays at the line of scrimmage, really good in the run game as well.
2nd and 12, play action. Matt Corral's going to check down Bullock. And it's going to be 3rd and long as Bumper Pool drags him down.
And with this style of defense, it puts an awful lot on your linebackers, but the guy that carries the biggest burden is that middle safety. So for Otis Reese for Ole Miss and Jalen Catalan for Arkansas, they ask an awful lot of those young men, and they're going to have to be up to the task because these offenses are starting to really hit their stride.
3rd down and 10 after the first turnover of the game. Corral going deep again. Great effort, but incomplete. Jaden Jackson went up high for it, but couldn't bring it down.
Just a great play there by Monteric Brown. Staying with it, getting that left arm involved, and ripping the ball free. It was well thrown by Corral, but just a better defensive play by the corner.
So Mac Brown on to punt. And Perotti back to return. Mac Brown, one of the best punters in all of college football. Ranks 9th in the country in net punting.
A lot of movement.
False start, offense number 46. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
And by the way, as good of a punter as he is, as good of a guy as he has been selected to the All-State Good Works team, has been raising awareness and funds for ALS research since he was in the 7th grade.
Amazing.
And he stays with it.
Love that.
So the big leg punter drives it inside the 30 where you get the fair catch. Let's go to the studio.
All right, so a couple of weeks ago, guys, the OU crowd was chanting for Caleb Williams against West Virginia. This was on 4th and 1. It is Caleb Williams, and it is 66 yards for the touchdown. Oklahoma climbs back within 14. They have the ball. It'll be interesting to see who comes out at quarterback for the Sooners.
Listen, Greg, I was watching Game Day this morning, and Kirk Herbstreit was there, and in his very unique way, admonishing the Oklahoma fans a bit, and every right to do so for the way they were treating things a few weeks ago. Williams is super talented.
Right.
Super talented. We get it. Support your team.
100%.
Listen, you got a great guy on the field now. It's
Yes.
great, but support your team.
100%. Do not boo the starter. That's bad optics. And there's a lot of recruits in the stands every single week.
And keep it on the ground here with Green after the punt. And he makes it to the 32-yard line. I mean, that's the point. If you're sitting there, you're a 4 or 5 star, and you're saying this is how they treat you?
Yeah.
Right? One of the Heisman favorites, this is how they treat you?
Exactly.
Jefferson doesn't pitch, keeps, flag is down as he's a yard shy of that line to gain. We will check on the flag. 14-14 here after Corral had the big touchdown and the 2-point conversion.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face, defense number 97. This 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the run with an automatic 1st down.
That's Shamon Gordon, who takes that walk back with his head down. And now we'll trot off the field to Lane Kiffin.
That was another big penalty there from Ole Miss's defense.
Malik Hornsby in at quarterback right now for Arkansas. He is the speedster, and he's going to reverse field, see if he can pick up a block. No! Tackled for a loss. Tylen Knight darts in against Malik Hornsby, and this is a guy in Hornsby who has elite speed.
Yeah, how about this close by Tylen Knight? Number 4 versus number 4. And the number 4 in powder blue makes the play. That's a great tackle in the open field.
So KJ Jefferson comes back in on 2nd and 16. They throw a change up at quarterback, and it fails them. A loss of 6 yards. Jefferson, great protection. Drives the ball incomplete, short of the intended target. He's looking for Burks.
We've got to think in this spot, 3rd and long. I'm going quarterback draw. I mean, right now the passing game has not been the answer for the Hogs so far. But KJ Jefferson with the ball in his hands, he can make things happen. I'd go quarterback draw right now.
4 of 6 on 3rd down today. 3rd and 16. Jefferson right at the line of game, circling back, and then driven out was Warren Thompson. He had it if he had settled down, but then tried to get something extra. We'll see where they mark that progress, and they do at the 40-yard line. It's 4th and 2 from there. Right over the ball, 4th and 2. Briles has the call in. Jefferson on 4th and 2. Sprint left, throws it, gets it complete, and Thompson does get the first down this time.
I really like the play there. Little sprint left, Q9 option. Easy throw for the quarterback off the mesh.
First down run. Green. Net in the hole right at the 30-yard line.
Green's one of those guys that has track speed. We all know how good Arkansas's track team is, and whoever their track coach is might need to recruit a couple guys off this Arkansas football team, because you reference Hornsby, the backup quarterback. A.J. Green, another young player with tremendous speed. It's a group that really is more thought about as being a powerful group, but they got some guys that can sizzle too with the ball in their hands.
And Green ran a 10-300 in high school. 2nd and 6. Jefferson. And he will throw this away.
Another Ole Miss player down.
That's KD Hill.
That's potentially
big nose tackle.
It's a big loss too. A big body that one of the few guys that Lane Kiffin said played really well last week against Alabama. So you see Lane clearly knowing that that guy's extremely important.
I'm Matt Barry. Coming up on the Lexus halftime report, there is no D in Big D. We'll get you caught up on Oklahoma and Texas. Plus, I'm telling you, do not count out the Ohio State Buckeyes yet. They are scoring at will today against Maryland. Plus, we'll take a trip around the SEC, Florida and Tennessee both in action. Sam Acho, Joey Galloway join me coming up on the Lexus halftime report. Guys?
I look forward to hearing what the guys have to say about the Williams-Rattler situation. 3rd down and 6 for the Hogs. Jefferson, quarterback run, nothing in the middle, and then he is sent backwards. Waiting on it was Tysheem Johnson, guy who's been getting the most playing time of all the talented freshmen in last year's signing class.
And this is a great play on the end of the line of scrimmage. I mean, that's really what made it. And Sam Williams, who beats the right tackle inside and essentially slows down the momentum KJ Jefferson, which leads to the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
And now the freshman Cam Little on to attempt his long of the year. Been a good-looking freshman This from 50. And it just skims to the right. So we remain tied up at 14 apiece. Weekend Wake Up brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast.
And how about some of these matchups? Everyone talking about Cincinnati, but look at the number next to BYU. That game's going to be really interesting this afternoon in Provo. And then we already talked about it. I think that LSU-Kentucky game's fascinating tonight. Kentucky, will there be a little bit of a hangover? LSU probably angry about how things went against Auburn last week. Really interesting game.
Matt Corral, don't give him time. Dangerous downfield and nearly intercepted as Sanders and Catalon were going head-to-head. You give Corral some time, and he's going to take a shot, and that's exactly what he did there.
Yeah, it's not easy to throw it over the Arkansas defense's head, as Catalon does a pretty good job of timing it up, almost pulls in the interception. There's a little contact there, but Catalon trying to play the ball. It was a good job by the official making sure that that flag wasn't thrown.
Catalon had a pick 6 last year against Matt Corral. See Corral pointing to the refs.
First charge timeout of the half.
I'll use the timeout.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
Monday Night Football comes your way with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens hosting Carson Wentz and the Colts. That'll come your way 8 Eastern on ESPN with Monday Night Countdown at 6 p.m. And we got a pro prospect quarterback right in front of us here in Matt Corral. We were talking to Jeff Lebby, the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss yesterday, Greg, and we said, all right, what's the next stage of development with him? Because he seemingly does everything so well as a dual threat, and we've seen his outstanding play today. And he said, adding some weight.
Yeah.
Just get some size.
Right. Getting bigger. That's the one part of his game that I guess is a little bit of a question mark. But I'll tell you what, man, the way he runs the ball, lower the shoulder, might only be 200 pounds. I'll tell you what, he doesn't play that way. I'm very, very impressed with this young man. I think he's a competitor. He's extremely, extremely accurate. I think he's going to be a really good pro.
3rd and 3. Here's Connor on the swing pass, and that will move the chains for the Revs. 2:47 to go. 2 timeouts. Tie game here at home. Beautiful day at Vaught Hemingway.
This would be big to get some points for Ole Miss before the half. Defense has made a couple adjustments as a result. Kind of slowed down what Arkansas was doing. Cash in and take the lead into the half would be huge for the Rebs.
Corral darting ahead. Fake the shovel. They're asking for a flag here is the crowd, but they're not finding one as he slid and Grant Morgan came in on him.
You've got to be really careful if you're Grant Morgan, obviously. Make sure you see what you hit. That helmet was a little down, very close. But I don't think there was a targeting there. Very close. Got to be more careful if you're the linebacker.
It's about an inch away. 2nd and 3. Good push up front with that offensive line and Snoop Connor. Remember, starting left guard is out. Caleb Warren. Jordan Rhodes gets the start. Transfer from South Carolina, who came in just before fall camp. Corral to the near side and in stride, quarterback to former quarterback John Rice Plumlee. And Kiffin asked a lot this week about using Plumlee more.
And did Plumlee get forced out of bounds, reestablished himself, and makes the play? Both officials' hats were off, but they determined that he was able to come back in after he was forced out.
And now play action on 1st down as he goes to John Rice Plumlee again. 1,000-yard rusher as the starting quarterback back in 2019. And now the Swiss Army knife for Ole Miss in recent years, but just not seeing as much playing time recently. But Jonathan Mingo out injured, one of the star receivers, so more time in the rotation here today. 2nd and 4. Turning the corner. That was Pearson. And Pearson will get it to the 7-yard line. And with that, they will have a 1st and goal. This is where Corral is really dangerous as a runner. And he's looking for another one and diving ahead to get it. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the day, 8th of the season, and the 1st lead of the game for Ole Miss.
How about the left side of that offensive line? I mean, just plowing that Arkansas front and allowing Corral to get to the 2nd level. And how about the effort? Full extension to find pay dirt. What a great drive by the Rebels.
Greg, what did we say just about a series ago of the recency bias and the reacting to the news, right? Of one, I don't even want to say bad game, but one game that's not your typical game like he had last week, saying, oh, well, maybe the Heisman thing is off. No, folks, look through history and you will find that's not the case through the years.
Yeah, recent history. All you got to do is go back just 5 years. Lamar Jackson played awful against the Houston Cougars, ended up winning the Heisman. Johnny Manziel, 3-interception performance back in 2012 against the LSU team that really wasn't great. Mark Ingram, my teammate, my guy, had a tough day against Auburn, got banged up, really didn't play much in the 2nd half, still went on to win the award. Ricky Williams, all-time great player, got absolutely crushed by Kansas State and had only 43 rushing yards. And then the guys that are superhuman, Bo Jackson, not human, right?
No, not at all.
Still won the Heisman even after a bad performance. And this one, most notable, one of the best college football players, if not the best college football player of all time, Herschel Walker, 20 rushing yards against Clemson en route to the Heisman Trophy. You can bounce back from a bad performance.
When you say Herschel and Bo in their absolute prime were athletes beyond what college football has ever known, Herschel had a 20-yard game, went on to win the Heisman. Bo had a 48-yard game, went on to win the Heisman. I know it's a different era, but still. A.J. Green. And the other thing about this is when you really reflect on Matt Corral last week, Matt Corral didn't play that poorly, right? Had the passing touchdown, had the rushing touchdown against Bama. We talked to Lane about it. He said when you watch what Matt did, it wasn't all on Matt.
Right. And it's a prisoner of the moment society too, right? I mean, it's all about what have you done for me lately, and you're only as good as your most recent performance. And when your most recent performance is disappointing after the build-up and the hype, people are going to overreact. But Matt Corral is very much in the mix. Now, he's going to have to play great down the stretch. He's going to have some gaudy numbers. But the big thing about the Heisman now is how do you play on the biggest stages? And he's going to have some big stages here in the weeks to come.
Treylon Smith with a good run. And listen, this is not a wow Heisman year. I mean, the default of, the starting quarterback on the best team, Bryce Young, I get it. This is a year where I would even lean towards looking at Jordan Davis in the middle of that defensive line for Georgia and saying, hey, that may be the most dominant player in all of college football, the guy who's impacting football the most.
As a guy that has had a Heisman vote now for 7 years, I voted for defensive players on multiple occasions. I voted for Quinnen Williams, not to win the award, but he was on my ballot. I voted for Roquan Smith at Georgia a few years back. I've seen great defensive performances on several different occasions. So Jordan Davis for Georgia, certainly worth some attention with how he's dominated here in the first month of the season.
Well, Lane Kiffin, the other day we asked him about it, and he said we didn't protect him. He said he made plays, Matt Corral. Things would have been much worse against Alabama. He said, I know it sounds strange, but Matt played well. You go and you watch the film. It wasn't Matt. That was not the problem. Yeah, got a timeout being used by Arkansas here. 24 seconds remaining.
And he's still in the mix. The unfortunate thing is it's always about the platform. More than anything is how do you play in the biggest games and the biggest moments. And the biggest game that Matt Corral and this Ole Miss team will have this year, as far as eyeballs, was the game against Alabama. And unfortunately for them, it was a poor performance and it got sideways early. So even when you go back and look at the box score and really evaluate the game, he didn't play poorly. He played pretty well, frankly. But at the same time, I think people drew some conclusions from that game. And when it comes to the Heisman, you can only have 3 on the list. And I think right now, if I had to submit a ballot, you'd be crazy not to have him in one of those 3 spots.
Listen, Ole Miss couldn't stop the run last week. I mean, Brian Robinson went for 171 yards and 4 touchdowns. Well, Katy Perry says this, right?
And Katy Perry, of course, we're not 100% sure as our Katie George, our reporter. I don't know if at this point, Katie, you can report that she has a vote or not. Can you confirm?
I cannot confirm at this point, but I will get with her people, Greg, and let you know, okay?
This is Trey Knox, the junior tight end. Listen, the way they give out Heisman votes in the antiquated system of writers passing down back from the 1950s forward, she may as well have a vote. Final 20 seconds of our first half. KJ Jefferson could make himself a sandwich with that protection. Trey Knox gets out with 11 seconds remaining. 2 timeouts for Arkansas.
Of course, you gain a few more yards. You got a chance to heave one to the end zone, but still have a couple timeouts in your hip pocket. You can work the middle of the field and potentially steal some points by kicking a field goal. Here's the half closes.
See how Jefferson manages this. Shallow cross as he's able to get to Johnson, and Johnson with 2 ticks of the clock remaining will have the ball at the 41-yard line, and that is where they use the timeout. All right, tonight we get the trilogy from Vegas. It is ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Tyson Fury, the heavyweight champion of the world, against the former heavyweight champion of the world from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Deontay Wilder. The prelims get going on ESPN2. The pay-per-view starts at 9. I will be at my couch back at the home in Florida by 11 to settle in and watch a fight that I called the last time. But I said, you know what? I got to work with my guy today. Who you got, Fury or Wilder?
I think you're just saying that right now so your bosses think that you're at home, but in all actuality, you're catching a flight to Vegas. Tell me the truth.
To
be honest. Be honest.
But what do we have here as they're going to trot out Cam Little for a 59-yard attempt? The freshman from Tulsa, Oklahoma is going to try to extend the leg to the max, and a timeout is going to be used.
And they got, looks like Braylon Sanders is in the back of the end zone. Of course, the play that I will never reference by name comes to everybody's name.
Yes.
Everybody's
Go
mind.
ahead. You can say it.
I'm not saying it. I refuse to say it.
That's a bammer.
That play didn't exist in my life. It's a moment. It's a moment that I've chosen to forget.
Well, that is the threat, obviously, when you attempt a field goal of this length, that a return man can be sitting there with his heels in the back of the end zone and take it back against a bunch of offensive linemen and a few specialists who are not used to kick coverage.
And you can set up a return rather easily, too, if this kick is short. Like you said, it looks like Arkansas thinking it might just be a little too much as they trot their offense back onto the field. But here in this spot, if you're KJ Jefferson, you're on the plus 41-yard line. You have to buy roughly 4.5 seconds for those receivers to run 40 yards into the middle of the end zone. And as you launch this Hail Mary attempt, you want to try to land it about 3 yards deep in the end zone. Gives you plenty of room to potentially catch a deflection.
So they bring in the offense. Cam Little, by the way, his long in high school was a 49-yarder, and he missed from 50 earlier, so the offense back out there. Next episode of True South will be coming your way. John T. Edge will be traveling around Lake Village, Arkansas, where he joins Cowboy Lee for Fat T-Bones. Stops at Rhoda's famous hot tamales and pies. Get the half pecan, half potato pie. That's tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. And right now I am hungry. after letting everybody know that. You can keep the potato and I'll take the pecan.
I'm from Texas, dude. I need that pecan. You can't have it.
Watch out for Traylon Burks. Number 2 receiver, top of your screen, number 16, 6'3", 225. He's the desired target for KJ Jefferson, who's trying to create time to launch it to the end zone, where he does, and it is intercepted. It was floating around, but then Keydron Smith comes up with the interception to finish off what was a fun and entertaining first half that saw Matt Corral rally the Rebs to a 21-14 lead. Let's head to the studio for our halftime report with Matt Barry and the guys.
Welcome back to the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
ESPN College Football presented by Marathon. Joe Tessitore, Greg McElroy, Katie George with you from Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. There's your superstar right there. And Matt Corral, the quarterback for Ole Miss, has the Rebs up 21-14 on KJ Jefferson and the Hogs. Keys to Victory is brought to you by Barbecue Guys. Matt Corral, that toughness. This is what Lane Kiffin told Katie.
Goes through your mind as you watch Matt Corral go through monster hits to fight his way into the end zone on that 2-point conversion as well as that last TD.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a drop your ego game for Matt and the receivers. You may not have many big plays outside. We got to do what it takes to win and got to finish drives.
Listen, I love the way the kid plays, Greg. You just watch him, and he's got that hit quality. Listen, he's got tons of talent.
Right.
But he's gritty. He's resilient. 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown for 67 yards in that first half.
Yeah, and he's been extremely tough running the football. Both quarterbacks, really. Both him and KJ Jefferson have really been the biggest sparks to their respective offense. I mean, Matt Corral known more for what he does with his arm. However, his legs have been massive throughout the course of this first half. And then KJ Jefferson, also, not to be outdone, has been very effective running the football.
Well, Tess and Greg, I had an interesting conversation with Coach Pittman as he came out of the locker room. He said, I came into this game thinking my guys defensively would win on the edge. He said, that's not the case right now. Ole Miss is blocking us really well, and all their yards are coming from that edge and towards the sideline. So he wants to see improvement up front on that edge.
Here, too, for Sam Pittman. They had lost 20 straight SEC games prior to his arrival, and then last year 4-7 and just played with heart. They beat Ole Miss last year. They picked off Matt Corral 6 times last year. 2 of them were returned as pick-6 touchdowns. And now here trailing on the road by 7 as Corral and the offense with the ball to start the second half. Parrish made the first would-be tackler miss before he is wrapped up by Catalan.
I think what Katie said is 100% dead on. I've been very surprised. It's not often that you see this Arkansas front, those front 3, that's a stout group. That's a very stout group. So it's not often that they get pushed around. However, this Ole Miss offensive line, you got to give them a ton of credit for how physical they've been early in this game.
2nd and 7 as Parrish was tripped up and then fell ahead for just a yard. It was Hayden Henry who came up with the tackle. The middle brother of the Henry brothers, of course, Hunter, an NFL tight end. Hudson here is a tight end with the Hogs. 3rd down and 6. Corral. Look at the fleet feet of Matt Corral for a first down. Took a shot at the end there, and he was slow to get up. That was Greg Brooks who came in.
And Corral wisely goes down baseball slide, but you look at Brooks over the top. I mean, hitting him really hard as he's already given himself up.
Corral 66 yards rushing. Parrish out of the stack formation, and with that block. Here he goes. And the Rebs are on the run. Henry Parrish Jr. 33 yards on the ground.
Just a great block downfield, too, by the wide receiver, Ja'Cory Pearson. Sprung Parrish for some extra yardage.
Corral quarterback run, tripped up, and had a surge back to the line of scrimmage as Hayden Henry got a piece of him.
Yeah, and this is what Sam Pittman's been concerned about, is just how often Ole Miss has been able to handle the edges of this defense. Right there, you get a couple pullers out in front, you have numbers, then next thing you know, the running back for the Rebs is out the gate.
Good kick out by Chase Rogers, the tight end. 2nd and 12. And nearly tackled for a loss and then brought down for one as Joe Fouché makes the tackle on Connor.
It'll be interesting here with Lane Kiffin. What does the chart say? We referenced the 4th downs and how willing he is to go for it. So he might have that in the front of his mind at this point, thinking, hey, this part of the field, probably 4th down, 6 or less. Anything less than 6, might go for it. So goal here, obviously, with 3rd and 12, get at least 6 yards.
They're down in 12. He wants more than that. He wants the end zone, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Braylon Sanders. And Sanders is still down back of the end zone. May have come down hard on that shoulder. You see that left arm just hanging. Talked to so many around the program. They think Sanders is the most talented of the receivers. Offensive lineman down as well. We'll take a break. Glad you're with us on this beautiful Saturday watching the SEC on ESPN. Taco Bell welcomes you, of course, to the Live Más Student Section of the Year contest. Hashtag Student Section Sauce. Get the committee's attention. ESPN.com/Taco Bell. You can go to see how your school can compete. You think it's fun going to school here? I mean, come on.
It's a great, great place.
As they like to say, they've never lost a party in Oxford, Mississippi. Not with this crowd. And then you got John Kearns, you got Wright Thompson enjoying themselves for the adult crowd. They know how to live. Costa on for the field goal attempt from 50 yards. Really good contact and drives it home. So a 50-yard field goal for Caden Costa. Ole Miss has really struggled with their kicking in recent years, but as a true freshman now, he has been the answer.
That was a great kick. A lot of distance, splits the uprights. A pretty good opening drive there from the Ole Miss Rebels.
(24-14) in what everybody throughout the SEC has been referring to as the bounce back bowl, right? Both teams last week had the big opportunities against Alabama and Georgia. Greg, I thought you made a great point in saying last week was not about what Arkansas and what Ole Miss aren't. It was about how good Bama and Georgia are.
Correct. I think a lot of people came away and said, oh, well, Ole Miss and Arkansas, they're pretenders. No, they're very, very good. Now, are they national championship quality? Not at this point, not at this stage of these two programs' development, but still excellent football teams with an awful lot to play for.
Here's A.J. Green on the return for the Hogs. Let's check in with Katie.
Well, guys, beside the missed field goal and the fumble, Coach Pittman told me at half offensively, we've got him right where we want him. We ran the ball 34 times by design with the hopes of wearing them down. Arkansas feels like it's done that. So Pittman says the key for his offense coming out here is to continue to be physical, continue to wear them down. He feels like it'll help in the long run.
They have 186 rush yards on the day, does Arkansas. Last week against that tremendous Georgia defense, they only had 162 total yards.
And this is, I think, a massive drive, too, because Arkansas is a team that's really built to play with the lead. They can rush the passer, and they can run the football very efficiently. So they have to have an answer here to cut it back to one score.
Sanders, he had a cut back against the grain as he had Sam Williams looking right in his face in the backfield.
And if you look at Arkansas, I mean, they were their own worst enemy. I mean, they had the fumble. Everything was great until that fumble. And as soon as Chance Campbell was able to rip that ball from the running back's grasp, that's when things changed for the Hogs.
2nd and 8. Sanders again. He catches a seam, and he will have a first down. This is out to the 36-yard line. Henry with the tackle.
Obviously, if you look at Ole Miss, a group that's improved defensively, struggling today against a potent rushing attack.
Jefferson quickly gets it to Morris.
Got to think that Arkansas is going to lean very heavily on KJ Jefferson here in the second half. Sam Pittman talks about leaning on that opposing defense, flexing their muscle in the second half. Well, the biggest, strongest runner they have is their quarterback at 250 pounds. Expect a full dose of him in the final 30 minutes.
Sanders again. Rocket Sanders down the sideline. It took Jalen Jones to track him, and Kendall Briles, the young offensive coordinator, is running down the field with his offense, saying, let's go, guys. Here we go, Hogs.
Yeah, and a great job on the left side of this offensive line by Cunningham at the left tackle spot and Latham at the left guard spot, just securing that edge and allowing the running back to break free. Just really well blocked there on the left side, and not great defensively as the Rebels got out of the gap.
42 yards for Rocket Sanders, the freshman from Rockledge, Florida. Smith spinning his way inside the 20-yard line. There is Rocket, speedy freshman, big part of their future that's so bright with this Arkansas program. 2nd and 6. Jefferson pulls, gets a block in front from his big tight end, and he'll have another first down. Kid who grew up just 20 minutes away, coming back here in front of family and friends, trying to rally the Hogs, and there they are. Look at those shirts. How about that?
I love it. I love it, man. Always great to go back home, and he's played extremely well today. They'd have the interception at the end of the half, but that was on a Hail Mary situation. I mean, he's done everything that Arkansas would want from him. Just got to cash in here now as they're looking for the end zone.
1st and goal. Looking at the goal line. He gets it there to Burks, who's trying to get free, but then the pursuit gets to him. Big 6'3", 225-pounder. Many think he's the best wide receiver in the SEC.
Yeah, he is big and physical, and today he's been quiet. It's a testament to Ole Miss's defense and their plan to try to neutralize big number 16.
Run game hasn't been quiet, and they go back to it here as struggling to get back to the line of scrimmage was KJ Jefferson. That was well defensed that time by Tavius Robinson.
A big down here, obviously. Depending on how you do, might have 2 downs to get it. Expect Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator, to get KJ Jefferson involved here in the run game. Whether it's zone read or something, with 2 running backs on the field, even go with a little misdirection.
Johnson and Green in the backfield with Jefferson. 3rd and goal to the end zone. Touchdown to Trey Knox. Well-managed drive by KJ Jefferson. Trey Knox gets the 3-yard touchdown catch.
That was a really cool design from Kendall Briles.
Good way to respond for the Arkansas Razorbacks. 75-yard drive. KJ showed a little bit of everything. And then the quick throw to Knox. We got ourselves a good game here. That is Sam Pittman telling his team, we got them right where we want them. Right where we want them. Arkansas is trailing by 3, but Ole Miss had all that momentum. They scored the touchdown before the half. They came out, had an 8-play, 50-yard field goal drive. But right where they want them is running the ball when they need to. They've rushed for 253 yards, and moments ago, they just capped it with a touchdown pass, KJ Jefferson to Trey Knox, and it's a field goal game.
It's a great answer by Arkansas. First drive of the half, make some adjustments, and continue to pound Ole Miss on the ground.
Vito Calvaruso kicking off.
Let's take a look at the more driven moment, brought to you by Goodyear. Let's look at this touchdown, just a thing of beauty. I love the design. What's been killing them today? Quarterback run. So what do? You show quarterback run. But you know what? Just in case you need it, there's your pitch man. However, as they roll to the right, you can throw the shovel pass if you like it. If you don't, guess what? All those powder blue jerseys are coming to try to tackle you in the backfield, which allows what? It allows Knox to run right around and make the play in the end zone.
Here's Plumlee on the run. He gets to the 29.
Such a cool design there by Kendall Briles, and very nice poise and disguise from the quarterback, KJ Jefferson.
Connor on the carry on 2nd and 6. It'll be 3rd and short.
It's amazing. These two offenses, so similar. You wouldn't think it either. But of course, Kendall Briles very familiar with Lane Kiffin.
3rd and 1, and right at the line of scrimmage was Grant Morgan knifing in and getting Connor around the ankles.
You remember last week, Lane Kiffin, he'll go for it on his own 31. So if he'll do it there, why wouldn't he do it at his own 34?
And that's what's happening. 4th down from his own 34. Not even close. The Hogs put up a stone wall, and Kiffin's 4th down plan rejected. Grant Morgan and the rest of them.
Watch Grant Morgan right here. Just slip right around the tight end who's blocking down at the line of scrimmage. He peels so tight. And as a result, he makes the play at the line of scrimmage. Just a great job by the linebacker.
Now you tell me, Greg, I understand what Lane says about analytics. I understand what he knows about his offense. But cost-benefit analysis, how comfortable are you when a team just closed it to a 3-point game, when the opposing coach just says we got them right where we want them, and it's a turnover on downs that you serve on a silver platter starting a drive on the 33? KJ Jefferson, look at the time he has. And he gets it complete inside the 20-yard line to Morris.
Yeah, at some point, I think you have to punt it there. Of course, hindsight's 20/20 because all the momentum at this point is on the Arkansas Razorbacks side. And Lane says, man, I got to let the feel of the game, the vibe of the game, kind of dictate whether or not I go for it. Right now, it's really tough to justify.
And Johnson, as he gets the ball to the 15-yard line. So he goes for it on 4th down from his own 34. And that Arkansas defense, see Grant Morgan, Captain Morgan, team captain, who plays so fiery in the inside of that front 7, comes up with the stop. And now here's Arkansas, and they're feeling it.
Well, they are. This is a massive sequence for the Ole Miss defense. If they can somehow force Arkansas to just a field goal, that would be a huge win for the Rebs.
Also be a tie game.
The safeties better get up close, though, because there's a lot of really favorable numbers in the run game.
2nd and 7. Jefferson pulls it into the end zone. It's incomplete. He was looking for Warren Thompson.
Oh, and he knows it, too.
He does.
If you look at his reaction, as soon as this ball leaves his hand, and these are the ones, you literally remember these throws forever. You never think about or remember the touchdowns that you made. You think about the ones that you missed. This one sails just off the mark for the Mississippi kid. You hate that for KJ Jefferson.
3rd down and 7. After the turnover on downs, the failed 4th down attempt by Ole Miss. They're 5 of 9 on 3rd down. This a 3rd and 7. And they're going to run it with Johnson on 3rd and 7. And he is well short of the line to gain.
Maybe that's why you go for it at your own 34. You just trust your defense so much. It's DJ Durkin. You see the coordinator for the Rebs. He's got to be fired up. Sudden change. Defense's backs against the wall. Have no momentum. And they force the field goal. Just a great answer there by Ole Miss.
Ham Little trots on. Came into the day with 8 made field goals, the best among freshmen nationally. And just like that, they get the ball back after Lane went for the 4th down, and they're able to tie the game. A quick turn for the Hogs. 10 points on the board in the past few minutes, and this was the big moment. The defense rallied. 24-24. Fun stuff, isn't it?
ESPN College Football, presented by Marathon, is brought to you by Burger King. Mix and match your faves for just $6.
I mean, Oxford just screams college. It's homecoming weekend here. And what a game we've got for homecoming weekend. Number 13, number 17, and tied up at 24. By the way, I got word as to who was voted Mr. Ole Miss and Miss Ole Miss. You're never going to believe this one. We'll get that to you in a bit. Bullock on the return for the Rebels. He's hit hard and met at the 20-yard line. Well, we've got an interesting story going on between the opposing play callers today, as Kendall Briles, the young offensive coordinator for Arkansas, is opposite Jeff Lebby, a very well-regarded offensive coordinator for Lane Kiffin. And don't you know they're related? Brother-in-laws. Jeff Lebby started working with Kendall when they were just 24 years old, married Kendall's sister. It's a good run by Henry Parrish.
Well, guys, they were friends way before marriage. Take a look at this picture from 1993. Kendall Briles was in the 4th grade. Jeff Lebby was in the 3rd. They were hanging out at the Lebby household in Dublin, Texas, as great friends. They have so many memories together on the football field and off, which makes this game so much harder when they face each other, Tess.
Yeah, you go from pictures that you somehow gathered of a sleepover and playing Sega Genesis to conversations we had this week about what's it like as you see Henry Parrish coming off the field. We talked to both Jeff and Kendall about it, and it was interesting because, listen, it makes for a great story. It makes for some headlines. The brother-in-laws going against each other. They said, listen, it stinks. Right. We don't like it.
We hate it.
But wives don't speak. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to see their family on the losing end. Snoop Connor, he's breaking free. Touchdown, Ole Miss. And back and forth we go. 51-yard touchdown, Snoop Connor. Connor just burst through and took off.
And with all that quarterback run, it makes these linebackers' heads spin. I mean, look at the misdirection here. Obviously, because of the threat of Matt Corral with his legs. As you see Grant Morgan, that outstanding linebacker for Arkansas, number 31, he has to hesitate just for a half second. That hesitation allows the right guard, Ben Brown, to get up to the second level. And once he secures that second level, there's nobody between Snoop Connor and the goalpost. Just excellent design, all made possible by the threat of the quarterback run and all the counters that Jeff Lebby, the offensive coordinator, will throw at this Arkansas defense.
Great call by Jeff Lebby. And excellent blocking up front. You mentioned Ben Brown. Ben Brown, who has now started a team high 39 consecutive games, and he's third-generation Ole Miss football player. Folks, you go online, they do a great docuseries called The Season that follows Ole Miss football around, and it featured Ben Brown's family, and he was a big part of why Snoop Connor was able to break free there. And the Rebs are back up a touchdown. This season, along with their contributions to the university's general scholarship funds, for every field goal and extra point made, All-State will also be donating to the American Red Cross to help with disaster relief efforts. Thank you, All-State.
Think about the sequence here in the last 5 or 6 minutes. You have Ole Miss, who decided to go for it on their own 34-yard line, only to be stopped, which led to Ole Miss's defense having to go out with their back against the wall. Arkansas has all the momentum. They get a stop, force a field goal, and then Ole Miss answers. Just a back-and-forth game on what's been quite the roller coaster so far.
371 total yards to 365 total yards, and Jefferson wants to add to that. Wow! My, oh my, Treylon Burks! .6'3", 225, and using every bit of it.
You got mossed. I mean, how about that by the big body wide receiver?
Jefferson downfield again, and he does it again! To the 1-yard line, Treylon Burks putting on a show. Kendall Briles dialing it up. Hey, these brother-in-laws are doing dueling banjos here. Look at the action we got in Oxford.
Wow. Rinse and repeat. Treylon Burks.
First and goal. Jefferson, awkward exchange with the center. Big body trying to push forward. He can't get anything. Man, oh man, is this a fun game when you go back-to-back 37-yard completions to Treylon Burks, and one is better than the next.
Unbelievable concentration. I mean, unbelievable concentration there from Treylon Burks. I know I'm not a fan of the 1-yard goal line fade, but I might make an exception right now, given what Treylon Burks just did the last couple plays.
Second and goal. This game's got everything right now. There's some movement. You see big KD Hill saying, "We got you."
There's the right guard there, Bo Limmer. Just a little bit of a move before the snap, and that's just a killer there in this part of the field. Now maybe you try the goal line fade, Tess.
See what Kendall Briles comes up with.
If I'm Ole Miss, I'm doubling 16. I can promise you that.
Second goal. KJ Jefferson, airborne and in! How about it, Superman? Welcome back home! He went over Tysheen Johnson. The bounce back bowl a week after these two teams were embarrassed, were stepped on, and now they meet up and put on a show like this. Wow.
I mean, I don't know what else you say. I mean, that's just an unbelievable effort by KJ Jefferson. Grew up right down the road I mean, talk about sending a message to your team. I mean, that's putting your body on the line to get the score.
6 yards, airborne, KJ Jefferson. You like ball, Greg?
I'm a big fan of ball.
You like 31-31, Greg?
I'm a big fan of 31-31 in the SEC.
Katie, what about you?
I love ball. You know who else loves ball, guys? Treylon Burks. You know why he can make those incredible catches? The man has incredibly large hands, measuring at 10 1/4. He needs 5X gloves. Unfortunately for Nike, their sizes stop at 4X. So the gloves he's currently wearing today, they're too small. He likely breaks through them every single game, so they have extra spares on the sides for when he makes incredible catches. And I had to know pregame, you know, where did my hands measure up? And be honest with you, I mean, my hands are, to be fair, I thought my hands looked pretty big next to his. I don't know what that says about me. They help setting, that's for sure, but he's got some great mitts on him, doesn't he?
That is an all-SEC wide receiver putting his hand up against the hand of a former All-America volleyball player.
You look at the hands. I mean, it's ridiculous just how big his hands are, and it's a pretty good situation when you're a wide receiver.
Let's go to the studio. Matt, I'm sure you're enjoying this one, my friend.
Back and forth, give me all the football, Joe Tess. While you're doing that, I'll update you on Kenneth Walker, who statistically is having a day. This is a 94-yard run for Michigan State. Say what you want about the tackling. I like the effort of the running back. That's the longest offensive play in Michigan State history. 197 yards on the day for Walker. Sparty at 28-13.
Sparty up. Sparty unbeaten. Sparty knocking on the door of the top 10. People thought, maybe they'll go away at some point. Not quite. Nor will this guy, Matt Corral, Heisman contender. Final minute and a half here of this third quarter of what has been the high noon showdown.
And it looks like it's Trey Williams that's down there in the front, and hope he's okay as he's getting that right arm or hand looked at. That's an unfortunate blow to Arkansas. The transfer from Missouri. He's done a lot of great things for them on the edge. And when Sam Pittman already referenced, man, we're not doing a great job on the edge, that's not the guy that you want to see down on the field. Hopefully he's all right as he jogs to the sideline.
All right, it's time for the Aflac trivia question, Greg. We've been talking about Bo Wallace as a Heisman contender. Second best odds currently to win the Heisman. We're asking what's the best Heisman Trophy voting finish for any Ole Miss player. It's Parrish on the run.
I'm trying to think. I mean, conventional wisdom would tell you Eli Manning. But I'm not so sure. I feel like they might have a trick up their sleeve. So I'm going to go keep it in the family, Deuce McAllister.
You know, I think I mentioned Bo Wallace there instead of Matt Corral. I had Bo Wallace on my mind as I was reading the question. Final minute here of this third quarter. 2nd and 7. Flag comes in.
Corral trying to go fast, and Ole Miss wasn't lined up.
Ref's mic is not working. And his third quarter's had electricity, hasn't it?
Oof, I'll say.
And 5 combined scores in the first half. And 5 combined scores in the third quarter alone to this point. And trying to get it with Snoop Connor, and he does, and just wiggles his way ahead to the 36-yard line.
And when you talk to both coordinators, offensive coordinators, Jeff Lebby for Ole Miss and Kendall Briles for the Arkansas Razorbacks, they both kind of said, hey, I mean, they're not going to be a lot of big plays. We got to kind of just be patient, be smart. And you thought that might be the case early. Not the case here in the third quarter.
Corral on 3rd and 10, cuts back against the grain and gets the first down. Man, is he nifty. What a third quarter we had here between these two. They're playing with desire. The bounce back bowl, there's an edge to number 13 and number 17 right now. Tied up at 31. 5 combined scores in that third quarter. We are setting the table for a fantastic finish when we come back. The Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Don't go anywhere. Start of the fourth quarter, and we're tied up at 31 apiece. 895 combined yards between Arkansas and Ole Miss. Corral spins free, and then it's incomplete. 895 yards through 3 quarters in a game that we asked Lane Kiffin what his feel was for the game. What did he say the other day to us, Greg?
Oh, it's going to be kind of low scoring, going to be kind of back and forth, no big plays, keep the ball in front, both defenses. So it'll go fast and all. No, the exact opposite of how Lane Kiffin thought this thing was going to go.
Henry Parrish Jr. Remember, no Jerrion Ealy, out injured today. Got banged up against Alabama. Tempo always a factor with Ole Miss. They get quickly to the line on 3rd and 4. And stopped right at the line of scrimmage. And you know Lane, when it comes to 4th downs, offense doesn't even blink.
Yeah, good play by Fouché there off the edge.
They are 3 of 4 on 4th downs today. The one they missed turned into a quick field goal for Arkansas.
I expect them to do a little bit of a shift out of this formation. There you go.
There it is. As Braylon Sanders is in the backfield with Corral. To pass on 4th and 4. Drives the ball. I mean, absolutely rocket muscles it complete for a first down. As he gets it to Drummond.
Man, did he step into that one. I mean, just a crow hop. Well, watch him drive this back hip. I mean, look at the velocity. Boom! Back hip, through. Just perfect fundamentals and a very accurate football.
Tenth play of this drive coming. 4th down conversion pulled off by Kiffin and company. Their 4th of the day. And this is Connor, same formation, and he does it again. He went for 51 yards earlier. He goes for 34-yard touchdown here. That stack formation, that lead block, and that big glory for Kiffin and the Rebs. Snoop Connor. Great way to start the 4th quarter. Did you expect anything else? Offense, offense, and more offense. Ole Miss, a 10-play drive with an explosive run from Snoop Connor. 34-yard touchdown, 38-31. More drama to come. ESPN College Football presented by Marathon. 38-31. Ole Miss on top. Dr. Pepper's championship drive. Game of the week. Snoop Connor with 2 magnificent long touchdowns here in this second half to give the home team the lead. Just had a 34-yarder moments ago. A.J. Green on the return. And Green can't find much Green as multiple penalty flags are down at the 21-yard line.
Your turn, KJ.
During the return.
Exactly.
Number 6 of the return team. It's a 10-yard penalty after enforcement, first down.
Let's go back to the touchdown that gave Ole Miss the lead. I want to give a little love to the guys that are working to spring Snoop Connor. The difference between A nice 15, 20-yard run and a touchdown was the work done by number 83, Chase Rogers, and then Dontario Drummond on the outside to the left, number 11. Those guys did a great job of blocking through the whistle and turned what would have been a nice big play into a touchdown.
Very rare to see that not be the case, right? When you get those explosive plays, that receivers are blocking downfield, that tight ends are getting into the mix. A.J. Green, now here he goes. And that'll be 10. Ball is out! Ball is out, and fortunately for the Hawks, Warren Thompson was aware enough to dive back on it.
Man, so close. Warren Thompson there, right place at the right time. As the young freshman just had the ball ripped free, tried to change hands right there, kind of going from right to the left. Don't change hands as you're about to get tackled. That's just a young player, ton of talent, but nearly a costly mistake there for the Hawks.
It's A.J. Green, the freshman running back. He's replaced now by Smith, who gets the work on 2nd and 2, has a stiff arm and a ride for 6 more yards and a Razorbacks first down. Otis Reese eventually with the tackle. Let's take you back to pregame, and this was Arkansas. They had boxing gloves on. They're like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder later tonight in Vegas in the drill of ball security.
Deontay's right hand's a little stronger.
Just a little stronger.
Stronger. I think Deontay could probably get that ball free, but that's twice now that the Hogs have thrown it on the turf. That time lucky that they were able to pounce on top.
Jefferson on first down. Tons of time to wind it up downfield and get it complete to Thompson. Fumble recovery on one end, big play on the other. Warren Thompson, 46-yard reception.
But you save a life by jumping on the fumble, you get rewarded. Let's throw you one downfield. He had one earlier that he couldn't haul in. That time he makes the play. It's a guy that needs to come on to really balance this offense out.
Hogs showing their muscles, and Burks showing that speed. Traylon Burks, 20-yard touchdown. If this is the way this college football Saturday starts, I can only imagine what the rest of it's going to deliver.
And does he? Narrowly stays in bounds. Very, very nice.
So many consider him the best wide receiver in the SEC. Preseason first team with the measurables and the physicality that is tough to deal with. And the speed and size, and now 112 yards and a touchdown, tied up at 38.
ESPN College Football is presented by Marathon, driven forward.
Greg, you've brought it up, the possibility of a Sugar Bowl path, right? Last time these teams were in the Sugar Bowl, 2011 with Arkansas against Ohio State, 2016 with the Chad Kelly team against Oklahoma State. But you think about what Alabama and Georgia should be if everything holds form. This game today could be critical in seeing who could be in position.
Yeah, I'll make a prognostication.
Please.
Winner of this game goes to the Sugar Bowl. That's the way I see it. I mean, I'd like Kentucky. I'd like what they're doing in the East, but I don't think they, at this point, are going to finish ahead of either of these two teams. So, obviously, 11-1 is a real possibility for these two teams if victorious today.
All right, we were asking, we talking about Matt Corral and the Heisman campaign. We're saying, all right, which Ole Miss player has had the highest result in Heisman history voting? That is the Aflac trivia question.
Based on that shot, I'm going to go on a limb and say Archie Manning.
You like the speed limit around here, don't you?
Eli too. Okay,
Eli
so I
got
part of it right. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Jake Gibbs, who played for the Yankees in MLB.
That Manning family could play some football, huh?
Just a little bit, and broadcast some ball too. Snoop Connor, he's been dynamic and was just tripped up on the edge. Just over 11 minutes to play here in this game. 38-38. Snoop Conner had the 51-yard touchdown, had the 34-yard touchdown, and then Arkansas had the answer with Traylon Burks' 20-yard touchdown. Matt Corral lowers the shoulder, keeps his balance. This is your quarterback, your 200-pound quarterback doing that. Flag is down at the 40, but how tough is Matt Corral?
What a run.
Holding. Offense number 13. 2-yard penalty. Still second down.
Walking it back.
And they're going to get Drummond on the edge, but man, how about Corral lowering the shoulder? It's not like he just broke a tackle of like an intramural player. He just broke a tackle against Jalen Catalon, one of the best safeties in college football. Boom! I mean, sheds him. Catalon probably could have wrapped up a little better, but either way, man, that's your quarterback lowering the shoulder. That's how you energize the entire team. I mean, that right there can provide such a boost. Even though it was brought back, the effect it has on the team will not be diminished.
2nd and 5. Well, if you can't run it, you can always do this. Batted away at the last second. Well defensed by Monteric Brown as he was trying to hit Braylon Sanders.
It was a great play by Monteric Brown, tracking it the whole way, always having eyes on it. Ball thrown a little bit too far upfield. In a perfect world, you'd love to throw that ball between the hash and the numbers and allow Drummond to run across.
3rd and 5. Quick strike, and it works out. Jackson. Dennis Jackson with the reception for a Rebels first down. You know, had that penalty not happened, Corral would have been the 3rd Ole Miss player with over 100 yards rushing today. He's got 82. Connor and Parrish are over 100 on the day. Big offensive line has put forth a good effort. See Ben Brown and James. Parrish searching for something on the left side. Nothing there.
They've gone to that play a few times now. Just try to stretch it to the edge and see if they can find a seam. That time, Chase Rogers wasn't able to secure the block. And Arkansas finally made the adjustment to a play that's killed them a few times here in the second half.
2nd and 10. Corral all day. Wide open is Sanders. Wow! Diving effort at the 1-yard line. Braylon Sanders. What a show we've got here in Oxford right now.
What a catch. Ball's drifting just a little bit away from him, but he tracks it the whole way.
And Connor, what do you do for an encore? That. Snoop Conner, 3rd touchdown in this second half. Ole Miss has 6 plays over 20 yards today. They've scored on 3 of them. But that big one moments ago to Sanders just set up the gimme. Braylon Sanders, he had one of the most amazing catches of the year last week. Had that one-hander on the sideline against Alabama. Matt Corral, what a great bounce back. KJ Jefferson comes back home. He's been putting on a show. Braylon Sanders stretching out and setting up. 45-38 and still 9 minutes to go in this wild one. Night, but there will be thrills and action with the NHL opening night. Can't wait for that. Going with a pin kickoff here. Here, catch out about the 16.
Corral zips wide. It's intercepted again. 6 interceptions.
I know I messed up, and I know I have an opportunity to fix it. That's all the motivation I need.
I'm sure he's going to be really excited to play us because, in his words, he didn't play very well, and he'll probably have a little bit more on this one.
That was last year when Ole Miss lost to Arkansas. Matt Corral threw 6 interceptions, 2 returned for touchdowns. He said it's going to be much different this go-round. It has been. 45-38. Rocket Sanders able to get past one would-be tackler, but then ridden down by Finley. How much different? This different. Last year, the 6 interceptions. This year, the 2 rushing touchdowns and the passing touchdown and that magnificent deep ball to Sanders moments ago.
And the numbers, I mean, they're not even reflective of how good he's been today. I mean, so good.
Sanders on 2nd and 6 as he was brought down by Mark Robinson, who was tracking down the line. And you see Trey Knox is slow to get up, as is an Ole Miss defensive player.
It's like Chance Campbell.
It is Chance Campbell. And Campbell has been their sturdy linebacker. He transferred in from Maryland. He averages a team high 7.2 tackles per game. There's Trey Knox, who had the 3-yard touchdown catch earlier today. So as they take care of Campbell, we will take a short break in the midst of this thriller. We'll have the call there. Be an interesting game. So much pressure on LSU's Ed Orgeron right now, where they stand at 3-2. We have 1,073 total yards between number 13 Arkansas and 17th ranked Ole Miss. 1,073 with 8 minutes still to play.
In Arkansas thinking this has been a track meet, maybe we slow it down. Clock running here as they stayed in the huddle for quite a while.
3rd down and 4. And Sanders will surge ahead and be marked right on that line to gain. So that's a 1st down for the Hogs. Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator, opposite his brother-in-law, the opposing offensive coordinator, Jeff Lebby. These 2 guys are putting on a show. You think holiday dinners and 4th of July conversations are going to be quite something when the 2 play callers are having these performances?
I think they should invite DJ Durkin and Barry Odom to Thanksgiving dinner, too.
They should gift wrap some presents for those 2. It's a defensive coordinator's nightmare. And around here, it's Warren. And a little bit of wiggle for about 9.5 yards.
Right now, it really feels like a game where whoever has the ball last can win, right? I mean, it's been back and forth. These offensive coordinators have just flexed all the way throughout. You got to give tremendous credit to both offenses and both quarterbacks. They've both been excellent today, not just with their arm, but with their legs.
Jefferson. That was denied at the last second. He was looking for Warren. And instead, Miles Battle was able to defend it.
A great job there by Battle. I mean, Battle's long, 6'4", as he reaches out on the ball thrown just slightly behind Warren on the slant. That ball was thrown a little earlier and out in front. Warren could have very easily taken that one to the house.
That's a 6'4" cornerback. 2nd and 10. KJ pressure and is torn down. And it's Chance Campbell, who moments ago was banged up, and now he's doing the banging. Bring it down, KJ Jefferson.
And this is just a great job. The offensive line, you're going to see these guys work a little to the right, which frees up Campbell. And he does a great job of triggering on the green dog to drop the quarterback for a loss.
Third and 17. Three-man pressure, drop 8 on 3rd and 17. Jefferson downfield overthrows the intended target, Warren Thompson. That's a big stop for the Ole Miss defense, and that guy had a lot to do with it. Chance Campbell with the sack that set things up for the third down stop.
Just a huge play there by Campbell. I mean, seeing that space and knowing the clock has to go off. If you're going to go, you go now. He shoots the gap and makes the play in the backfield to stall the drive.
First Arkansas punt since 2:23 to go in the first quarter. Bauer. Does he have that leg ready? Fair catch. We haven't seen many punts. We've seen nothing but yards and points and action and thrills. Second half has been tremendous, Greg.
It's been back and forth. Big plays, great runs, unbelievable execution. There's Snoop Connor. Not to be outdone, KJ Jefferson, the kid from right down the road, takes it himself, and then asking you shall receive. Snoop Connor yet again. And a great answer to Treylon Burks, who was rewarded after a couple amazing catches down the left sideline. And Connor again. I mean, my goodness, it has been an absolute track meet here in Oxford. It's been a real joy to watch both these offenses at play.
Now after the stop, can Ole Miss take advantage? Parrish weaving his way as he makes it to the 29-yard line. 5.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, this is one here, obviously huge for Arkansas defensively. I think also huge for Ole Miss, man. Defense just got you the ball back, put some drive together, take some time off the clock.
2nd and 5. Pearson ridden down the line. Joe Fouché with the tackle. It'll be 3rd down. A little bit of a limp out of Monteric Brown. He had a well-defensed pass moments ago. Leaves a 3rd and 4 for Matt Corral in the midst of a Heisman campaign and a great bounce-back game for Corral's candidacy after last week against Alabama. 3rd and 4. Pumps, then goes downfield, and in stride gets Drummond. Dontario Drummond. 1st down, Rebels. Flag is down back at the 30. Will they walk this back?
Receiver downfield, offense number 76.
That was Cedric Melton, who strayed beyond the 3 yards, and Lane can't believe it.
Oh, and this is just a killer after the big play. Watch the left guard. This is an RPO. I mean, Corral could run the football, but because he has one-on-one coverage, he takes the shot downfield, but the offensive line doesn't know that. So he releases downfield, and it was a good call by the officials. Just a killer penalty on a critical down and distance.
3rd and 9. Pressure on Corral, being driven back. He has to throw it away.
Just like that. I don't think the defensive coordinators like my comment a little while ago.
No, all of a sudden we
find some answers, and a great call there. I love that call from Barry Odom, the defensive coordinator for the Arkansas Razorbacks, bringing pressure to the right side of that formation and overloading that protection, forcing Corral to deal it a little too early, and he has to throw it away. Just an excellent call by the outstanding defensive coordinator for the Hogs.
And now this is the first Ole Miss punt since the 2nd quarter. The dueling banjos theme continues here in this game. Brody on the return, and Arkansas will take over at the 35. Hey, Saturday Night Football is presented by Capital One, and we've got Michigan and Nebraska. It's tonight at 7:30 Eastern on ABC. Michigan trying to get to 5-0. A lot of people that have been looking at Nebraska, and I know what happened early in the season with Nebraska, but a lot of folks looking at Nebraska saying, watch how they've been playing defense lately.
Much, much better. And that Michigan team, people think that Michigan is just what they were the last few years, kind of generic on offense. Not the case. They have a capable quarterback, they have some good wide receivers, and they have a wonderful scheme that puts a lot of stress on the opposing defense.
Speaking of stressing a defense, KJ Jefferson and this group back out there. Treylon Smith as he gets to the edge. They have gone for over 550 total yards on the day. Both teams over 300 yards rushing. That is the first time it has happened in an FBS game this season. Arkansas is at 304, Ole Miss at 317. They're running all over the place here in Oxford. And Sanders will add to it another first down for the Hogs.
Very important here. Obviously, you need a touchdown. 2-minute operation is not necessarily the only thing on your mind at this point. What you need to think about is not just putting a drive together, but also being very mindful of the clock, because you don't want to give it back to Matt Corral and that potent Ole Miss offense with too much time to potentially go down and kick a field goal to win it.
Burks with the 3-yard reception. Coming up on 3 minutes to play. Keep Matt Corral on the bench, says Greg McElroy. Don't give him a chance. But right now, his defense could do wonders. 7-point lead in a critical game in the SEC. Sanders on 2nd and 7. He's got space, and it's another first down for the Hogs. They are on the go. 13 more yards.
And if I were Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator, I just keep feeding Sanders. Right now, he's got the hot hand, and with Ole Miss's structure defensively, those safeties aren't getting involved in the run game like they were on the previous drive.
He has 134 yards. Jefferson has time to pat the ball, go downfield, and almost intercepted. Miles Battle was battling Thompson and had a shot at it. And an Ole Miss defensive player is down on the ground at the 41.
That was a great play there by Battle. Obviously the long corner. We talked about his length at 6'4", trying to get it over his head. He's going to be insanely difficult. Just a good job of tracking the football and extending that arm. As you can see, the defender, KD Hill, for the Ole Miss Rebels on the ground.
So Jefferson took a shot, and while they tend to KD Hill, we check in with Matt Berry in the studio.
All right, Joe and McElroy, I'll let you guys catch your breath for a minute. You got an exciting finish on the way. When you are done, we've got Sam Howell, North Carolina, taking on Florida State in the ACC. That game will follow right after you conclude there in Oxford. Exciting finish between Ole Miss and Arkansas.
Thank you very much, Matt. KD Hill is grabbing at the right side of his chest as Lane Kiffin looks up at that scoreboard, start calculating things here. Sam Pittman, who's in his second year at Arkansas. I thought Pittman had a very honest assessment with us the other day of just understanding how ahead of schedule they are, but the sense of identity, the sense of belief that you can accomplish so much. Remember where this team was just 2 years ago.
Yeah, him and Lane Kiffin stepped into situations that were far from ideal. Arkansas, very, very difficult situation, and Pittman has gone in, waved the magic wand, and has them so far ahead of schedule at this point, the program's development.
Jefferson in the shotgun. Johnson is offset, split to the right with the bunch formation in front of him, and then they motion it back now.
I was going to say, if he snaps it, they're in the legal formation. There's enough guys on the line of scrimmage. Now they're set.
2nd and 10, quarterback run with Johnson as the lead blocker, but he couldn't get to him. He was tracked down by Robinson, and a flag is down at that point.
It's probably going to be a horse collar on Robinson, who dragged down the quarterback from behind.
Mark Robinson made a good play, but maybe too good from where he corralled him. Let's see if it is the 15-yarder.
Personal foul, horse collar, defense number 35. This is a 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run and includes an automatic first down. Arkansas has elected to have the game clock start on the snap.
See Kiffin's reaction knowing, hey, my guy was there. Just where he put his hand, it's going to be costly.
Yeah, very obvious call as you see the official about 3 yards away as Lane has got to be a little bit frustrated with that play defensively.
Well, player safety, always critical. Dangerous play. Look at the hesitation by KJ and then the burst to get a first down for Arkansas as they are sitting right there. Walking up to that front porch, going to knock on the door and say, we want to tie this game.
How about the running back right here? Johnson, look at this. Boom! You drag my quarterback down from the horse collar, you're going to feel it, Mark Robinson. What a block by the running back.
And you hear the boo birds coming from the Arkansas fans as they don't like the momentum being taken away from injuries. Quentin Bivens is down, big defensive lineman. And I think you nailed it at the top of the show, Greg, where you said dismiss everything about last weekend. We know what the scores were against mighty Alabama and that ferocious Georgia defense. But these are two really good football teams playing for a lot today.
A lot. And obviously you can see by the effort.
That's right.
Now the execution occasionally on defense, not exactly what you want. But the effort on both sides of the football by both teams has been remarkable. And I think when you watch just how much it means to the players, you can tell by their interaction on the sideline between series. Matt Corral, the way he's addressed his offensive line, the way he's addressed his running backs, the way Sam Pittman has addressed his offense by saying we got them right where they want them. I mean, it's been a very emotional game, and it's fitting that it's likely going to come down here to this drive by the Hogs and whether or not the Ole Miss Rebels can answer.
So both teams coming off those blowout losses to the two best teams in the country, by miles the two best teams. But the winner today, Greg, you have stated it, it'll be the early prime position to have a chance at second place in the SEC West, and perhaps that inside track to prime time on New Year's Day, to the Sugar Bowl, which, to think about where these two programs were just a couple of years ago, what a prize that would be. Right now it's a first and goal. Has been a magnificent offensive game. Absolutely magnificent. And will it have a fabulous finish? You made the comment of Sam Pittman wanting to manage the clock here and not give Matt Corral too much time if they do score. Jefferson keeps it himself and gets in. How about KJ? Family and friends loving it. From 20 minutes away to glory on the field in his return, we are an extra point away from 45 all. KJ Jefferson, 10-yard touchdown run. Wow. Freshman kicker Cam Little to tie it.
How about these quarterbacks, man? I mean, KJ Jefferson, first year as a full-time starter, has 3 Ole Miss defenders that are rolling with the option. He says, I'm taking it myself, slide inside. I don't love the ball security. But other than that, man, that is awesome. What a run by the quarterback.
Well, he told me this week, guys, there was some extra juice coming so close to home, having about 20 to 25 fans, family and friends in the stands. He said, I'll get hyped if I need to on big plays. Well, he was hyped on that one, and rightfully so. They're loving it over in the Arkansas fan section right now.
And Katie, this guy's been thrown into the fire, right? 8th start of his college football career. He's been up against top 15 teams. The schedule they've been playing. So all of a sudden you're the man at Arkansas, and you slay Texas, and you slay Texas A&M, and you go on the road at Georgia and experience that. And then you come here to Ole Miss and you say, okay, Mr. Heisman contender, I'll duel with you. 45-45.
And let's take a look back as Matt Corral's about to take the field to try to win it. Man, he's played well. I mean, running physical, being accurate with the football, pushing the ball down the field. Hasn't had a ton of opportunities through the air, but man, he's created, he's extended plays, and most importantly, he has arguably been the toughest guy wearing powder blues today. He has been so physical running the football, and his team has responded beautifully to the challenge that he's laid in front of them.
But they left 82 seconds for that guy. Snoop Connor has had a huge second half as he scoots out for 7 yards.
We got plenty of time now, of course. The conversation between Lane Kiffin and Matt Corral, hey, we need 3. You don't need to do anything too much. We got plenty of time and 3 timeouts in our hip pocket. Keep one of those timeouts for the kicker. Just stay methodical throughout the course of this drive.
Kicker who, by the way, made a 50-yarder in this game. Corral, wide open and into the hands of Sanders. What a show! '68-yard touchdown, Matt Corral, Braylon Sanders, and still 1:07 remains on the clock. They just can't stop.
What a play call by Jeff Levy, the offensive coordinator. All done because of the double move. When you look at Monteric Brown, who's on the outside and has had a great game, down to the bottom of your screen, you look at number 13, Braylon Sanders, a little stutter go, hesitates like he's running a hitch, and then goes right past as you see Lane Kiffin's play card go flying because the throw was a thing of beauty from the Heisman contender. What a route, what a time to dial it up, and what a job by this Ole Miss offense striking yet again.
Look at this guy. He is pumping up everybody. He's out there pumping up the kickoff team. Matt Corral from 6 interceptions a year ago in a loss to Arkansas. To tell in the world, I promise you, it's going to be much different. It has been.
All the things that were just said about Ole Miss and the 2-minute operation still applies to the Arkansas Razorbacks. Of course, need a touchdown. You have 3 timeouts in your hip pocket. You don't have to completely abandon the run. Not at this point. Just take what the defense gives you to get the drive started.
"67 seconds left. How will the final chapter be written here in Oxford? Let's check in with Matt in the studio before we get to that.
Guys, cannot wait for that final chapter. It's getting weird in Dallas as well. Once down 28-7. Caleb Williams in for Spencer Rattler, who was benched. Marvin Mims, watch the grab. 2-point conversion ensues. That makes it 41-39. Here's the 2-point conversion. Rattler would actually come in for that play. Rolls right, and the Sooners have tied it 41 apiece midway through the 4th quarter.
How many sore thumbs on the remote controls all over the country right now? Red River's on fire. Oxford's on fire. And what kind of finish do we have here? Minute 7. KJ Jefferson grew up down the street in Sardis, Mississippi. 20 friends and family just off his right shoulder, seeing if he can pull this off. And that's a good start to it to Treylon Burks, one of the best in the biz. Burks finds that pocket, Greg, and settles in for 21 yards. He's got 136 on the day.
Great job flooding the zone and a nice accurate throw from Jefferson.
Jefferson Quick out this time to Trey Knox, and that will stop the clock with 51 seconds. Remember, they do have 3 timeouts.
You can work your whole playbook here. Nice and on the move. You can attack the middle of the field, but if you see the way Ole Miss is currently structured, they have 3 safeties deep. Obviously not going to let anything behind them, but there are some pockets underneath between the numbers and the hash that you would expect KJ Jefferson to try to exploit.
Jefferson, plenty of time. Out of the backfield is Sanders, and he is wrapped up right away by Dean Leonard.
Timeout. The Razorbacks. Sam Pittman got that one called. You got to think here, critical 3rd down. I mean, you can't expect to go anywhere other than the sure-handed Treylon Burks, number 16, has had a huge day. I'd get him in the slot. I'd motion him from one side of the ball to the other since the clock has stopped. See if I can create a little extra cushion as a result of that. I would try to pick up 7 or 8 yards here to give you a fresh set. And then you get back on the move in your 2-minute operation.
Jefferson against Corral. Look at those stat lines.
The interception, the one blemish, was on a Hail Mary.
That's right. Get rid of it. Don't even count it.
Not even real. Didn't even happen. I mean, both quarterbacks have just been outstanding today. It's been a joy to watch.
Third and 4. Sanders is going to run it off left tackle, and he will have the first down. Of course, stop clocks as they move the chains. 2 timeouts in the bag. 37 seconds. That nervous anticipation. What will be half a minute to go. Jefferson extends and then gets another first down to Trey Knox.
Now at this part of the field, I'd go clock it. You still have your 2 timeouts. They're going to use one here. But with the clock stopped, I would have waited, clocked it, because downs at this point are no longer a factor. You're going to be able to get first downs more than likely. At this point, I would have clocked it to save that timeout so I can still continue to work the middle of the field, or for whatever reason, if KJ Jefferson got sacked or if something bad happened, they could have fired one off. But down to 1 timeout now.
Listen, we came into this game feeling very confident that Matt Corral would get back to the form that we've seen, that put a line through that Alabama game. But on the other side, how impressed are you by KJ Jefferson?
He's grown up, man. I mean, if you look at him first half of the first game of the season against Rice, very disappointing. From that point forward, this dude's been balling out, and this is the best example of that. I mean, he has had ice water in his veins. We all know Matt Corral, veteran guy, very experienced, have played in a lot of big games with a lot on the line, but this is arguably the biggest stage that KJ Jefferson's been on, and he has responded to the challenge beautifully.
Off the timeout. Here's Jefferson now. Under 20 seconds to play. He's got to check down to Sanders. Sanders smartly gets out with 14 seconds. They were using a lot of time there. No need for the surrender cobra pose just yet, my friend. You got 14 ticks on the clock, and you got that guy as your play caller.
Tell you what I won't do. If I'm the defensive coordinator, DJ Durkin, there is no way I'm allowing number 16, Treylon Burks, to have a one-on-one. No matter what. He cannot, under any circumstance, be in a one-on-one situation.
Here comes the cascade of boos again from the Arkansas fans as Quentin Bivens is down again. We've seen a series of interior defensive linemen who have been dealing with the medical staff.
As you can see, Arkansas fans, which always travel, well represented here in Oxford. They are not happy with what we saw over the middle of the ball. Just look right over the center. Number 94.
Oh.
Hang on. Me? All right, I'll go.
Am I the one?
Yeah.
Oh boy, let me grab that right leg.
This has been a point of emphasis. This is something we're trying to take out of the game. Hopefully, obviously, you always wonder when it's real or not, but that time certainly didn't look real. Give them the old.
They offer method acting here at the University of Mississippi with their fine academic program.
There's a little soccer right there. They spray a little water on it, and then everybody gets better. It's amazing how that happens.
Great place to go to school, especially on a weekend like this. You get games like this, beautiful blue skies, the Grove, and a crowd that's as loud as any cheering on. A masterful offensive performance, but they're looking for their defense to make a stop here.
Like I said, if you're DJ Durkin, no matter what, let the other receivers beat you, but 16, he better have at least 2 powder blue jerseys on him at all times.
See if DJ Durkin's defense can get that stop. Jefferson, pressured from behind, gets rid of it, and gets it complete inside the 10 to Morris with 6 seconds remaining. So here we go. Game on the line. Arkansas smelling overtime. Ole Miss looking for the stop.
If you're lucky, you got 2 shots at the end zone. But the first play has to happen immediately. Got to come out of KJ Jefferson's hands really fast.
Traylon Burks is at the bottom of your screen. He's the mismatch. Big number 16. They have a timeout left, and Pittman chooses to use it. And Sam Pittman, who can be a great motivating force, but also a great steady calming force. And he believes in his calm and cool quarterback, KJ Jefferson. Greg, take us through it. What should we be looking for here? Both game strategy, clock management, and XO with 6 seconds remaining.
Well, if I'm Arkansas, I want to try to get Traylon Burks. I want to try to get him. However, I'd be shocked if Ole Miss allowed that. So therefore, the next guy up in the rotation would be number 84, Warren Thompson. That's got to be your Scottie Pippen to Traylon Burks, Michael Jordan. So you got to find a way. And I think you got to try to get the ball out of the hands really fast here, because anything that's extended and off schedule, that limits you just to 1 play, 1 shot at the end zone. So you got to have 1 play here that's a quick hitter, so you have at least 2 chances to find Pater.
Well, guess what? Burks and Thompson are stacked at the top of your screen. So that's where they go 6'3", 6'3" receivers.
They might have one-on-ones too.
What does Jefferson have? Is there magic? To the end zone, overthrown, and there's 1 second remaining. Praying. Arkansas's hoping. Fans are roaring. And Lane will take a timeout. He's going to let this thing boil up a little more and boil over. Let's go back to that last play, the overthrow to the back of the end zone.
I love the design. I mean, you get Traylon Burks in a one-on-one throw just way too high as he's trying to work against Miles Battle. And Lane, looking at the home scoreboard, actually a little surprised that there's still 1 second left, to be honest. Usually a home clock operator, a little generous with those seconds ticking off, but Lane thought it was zeros. It was not. And it'll come down to this for the Hogs offense.
Well, there's Battle in that defensive huddle. Now keep in mind, we keep talking about Burks and Thompson and their size. Battle's 6'4". He's the big corner.
You have to. If you find number 16 who's lined up there in the slot, If he's in a one-on-one, that has to be the guy you work.
Don't you just love it? What do you say we decided right here? Jefferson to the end zone, and we are an extra point away from overtime. Warren Thompson. The offense is staying on the field. It's been a long day. It's been drama-filled. And Sam Pittman says, let me roll the dice. Just like Lane Kiffin would do, huh?
Keep an eye.
Arkansas is going for the win. And Lane is going to use a timeout.
How about this quarterback, KJ Jefferson? Grew up right down the street, unfazed by the moment. Just an absolute beautiful throw to Thompson. The play was broken. It really wasn't a great play. Really wasn't anybody open initially. It was designed to go to the running back on a wheel. But Thompson stayed with it, as did his quarterback, KJ Jefferson. And he makes the play in the back of the end zone.
What do you think of the decision to not kick the extra point and to go for the win right here?
I love it. Absolutely love it. With how your offense is playing, with how your quarterback's playing, I think it's absolutely the right decision.
For the win.
And keep an eye on that quarterback power to the right. And then he throws it to number 7, Knox. He scored on it earlier.
KJ chased. The Rebels hold on. Is there a flag down? There is. They are all over the field. We've got players everywhere. We got fireworks into the sky, and there's a flag down. They are setting off fireworks. And it's all good. Keep partying, Oxford. What a game. Ole Miss wins it on a failed 2-point conversion. Pittman and Kiffin. Defense with Hugs. Go figure, in a game that had 1,287 yards, it's a stop that wins it.
And it's the same play they scored on earlier. We called it. We said they're going to try to go with that fake quarterback power with the shovel pass underneath and try to squeak Trey Knox right into the end zone. They scored on it earlier. They go back to the well in a gotta-have-it situation. And Ole Miss this time covers it up and forces KJ Jefferson to throw it high where the ball falls incomplete.
103 combined points, and instead of overtime, that's how we finish it. Katie.
Thank you, Tess. Lane, I feel like we should have some popcorn right about now. What on earth did you think of that one?
Well, our quarterback's unbelievable. He made a great play to number 13, Braylon. And we managed to play as bad as defense as you physically possibly can just to keep the crowd around to the last play. So we won. So finally, we can go have some popcorn. I won't leave the interview early.
I know Matt is going to need some ice bags after this one. What did you think of the resiliency he showed in just putting this team on his back and getting it done?
I mean, he's unbelievable. We knew we were going to have to run him against a great defense. It's very physical until you have a chance to wear him down. And, you know, who would have thought? 52-51. But I told him if it's 3-0, we'll take it. So Let's go.
We didn't see a whole lot of stops in the second half, but you got one when you needed it most. What'd you think of the resiliency the defense showed there to finish it?
Well, you can make it positive. We really didn't stop them. They just happened to go for 2. We'll take it.
Thanks for the time. Congrats.
All right, hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy indeed. Finally, we can go have some popcorn. And does he ever deserve that celebration? Matt Corral. He was just awesome today. Absolutely awesome.
He was off the charts good. I don't know really how to sum up both quarterbacks since KJ Jefferson walks off a defeat, but my goodness, the respect that everyone in college football should have for that young man is off the charts. He came of age right before our eyes today, gave his team a chance,